green tortoise. Would he? What do you mean? Nangong Xiong's expression wavered. At that moment, Nangong Hao and Qin Shuiyao arrived above the Nangong residence. Xing Yukong smirked, pointing a finger at Qin Shuiyao in the carriage, and declared, Qin Shuiyao, do you dare to acknowledge your true identity? Do you dare to confess that you have shared intimacy with other men? The crowd gasped in astonishment. Even Nangong Xiong leaped to his feet, his expression grave. The Nangong family could never accept a disloyal woman, no matter her talents. Elders from the Qin family were also present, eager to facilitate the marriage. Upon hearing Xing Yukong's accusations, an elder from the Qin family stood up, exclaiming, Xing Yukong, cease your slander. Shuiyao has always upheld her virtue and has never consorted with any man. A sinister expression crossed Xing Yukong's face. Is it simply your word against mine? Qin Shuiyao, do you dare to admit it? All eyes turned toward Qin Shuiyao in the palanquin. Nangong Hao, bewildered, stared at her. You are Qin Shuiyao. Beside him, and he was equally perplexed. What did this mean? The two were unfamiliar with one another. Qin Shuiyao took a deep breath, then transformed her appearance, revealing her stunning countenance as she spoke firmly. Esteemed guests, I am indeed Qin Shuiyao, the legitimate daughter of the Qin family. I have come to declare that I do not love the divine son, and that my heart belongs to another. I hope that the Nangong family will permit me to withdraw from this engagement. Her words struck like thunder, leaving everyone in stunned silence. Withdraw from engagement? A first-rate power withdrawing from engagement with an immortal force? And a woman withdrawing from a man? If this were to spread, the Nangong family would surely be the subject of ridicule for eternity. Nangong Hao stood by, utterly bewildered by the chaos unfolding before him. Who am I? Where am I? What shall I eat tonight? Nangong Xiong was equally bewildered, though his emotions leaned more toward anger. He exclaimed, Qin Shuiyao, do you comprehend the gravity of your words? Ah, you possess courage, Xing Yukong quipped, astonished that Qin Shuiyao not only admitted her feelings, but sought to withdraw from the engagement. Yet Qin Shuiyao paid him no mind, taking Nangong Hao's hand and stepping down from the palanquin, directing her questions toward the depths of the Nangong family. Dare inquire, divine son, do you understand the chaotic anomalies? My man does. Dare I ask, divine son, do you know what it means to be the imperial heir? My man is. Dare I ask, divine son, do you understand what true love is? I love him. As Qin Shuiyao touched the ground, she gazed steadfastly at Nangong Hao. I love you, and thus I am willing to risk everything. The members of the Nangong family were left in a state of bewilderment, all eyes turning to Nangong Hao as they inquired about the situation. Realizing that the matter was spiraling out of control, Nangong Hao quickly stepped forward and addressed Qin Shuiyao, urging her to refrain from further comments. He suggested that they could discuss her affection for him and the prospect of her cousin marrying him at a later time. Qin Shuiyao frowned and turned to Nangong Hao, questioning whether he was afraid, merely because he was the divine child of the Nangong family. In that fleeting moment, as she turned back, Nangong Hao revealed his true visage. His extraordinary and unforgettable handsome face instantly made Qin Shuiyao recognize his identity. With a wry smile, Nangong Hao confessed that he had never anticipated that she was his fiancée. Qin Shuiyao's eyes widened in disbelief as she processed this revelation. Indeed, he was the divine child of the Nangong family, Nangong Hao, and also her betrothed, not to mention the one she loved at present. With a subtle smile adorning his face, he had regained his original appearance, exuding an allure that captivated every woman present. Among the powerful figures observing the Nangong family, there were several formidable women who found themselves stirred by his charm. Gasps of admiration and affection rippled through the gathering. However, Xing Yukong was utterly flabbergasted, unable to comprehend the unfolding events. Observing the confusion among the attendees, Nangong Hao chuckled and apologized for the misunderstanding, explaining that he had disguised himself under a different name. Nangong, while searching for the legacy of the emperor. Along the way, he encountered Qin Shuiyao, who was also in disguise as Qin Shui, and they had each mistaken the other for a stranger, falling in love without realizing their true identities. With this clarification, the guests began to comprehend the situation, smiles emerging as they recognized the serendipity of the couple's connection, despite their disguises. Even the most cynical could not deny that they were indeed destined for each other. Hearing the explanation, Qin Shuiyao was both amused and exasperated by the coincidence. Nangong Xiong, standing nearby, expressed his relief, realizing it was merely a beautiful misunderstanding, and urged everyone to take their seats. The guests settled back, losing interest in gossiping further, and instead felt envious of the couple. Yet, Xing Yukong could no longer contain himself, erupting in fury, exclaiming that such a situation was unacceptable and that the two of them should not be together. The term dog couple drew frowns from the entire assembly, prompting even Ing Yi to strike him. With a resounding thud, Xing Yukong's entire life force was severed, leaving him lifeless. The Nangong family was known for its ruthlessness. It mattered not who you were or what legacy you hailed from. Anyone daring to act recklessly within their domain would face dire consequences. Nonetheless, as a strong figure of the Wang Ho realm, Xing Yukong clung desperately to life. Unwilling to succumb to his fate, Nangong Hao coldly regarded him and questioned why the royal guard around him, who should have recognized his disguise, had failed to inform him of his true identity. As he lay on the ground, struggling to comprehend, he looked towards his royal attendants, only to find them standing by, seemingly indifferent to his plight. In that moment, it dawned on him that he had been betrayed by those he considered allies. Someone from the Shihai clan must have bribed his guards, leaving him unaware of the imminent danger he faced due to their silence. Now, even if he were to perish, the Shihai clan would not dare to seek retribution, for he had openly provoked Nangong Hao during his coming-of-age ceremony. With a heart full of resentment, Xing Yukong ultimately met his demise. Upon witnessing his death, Nangong Hao calmly commanded that the body be disposed of and that his guards be eliminated as well, asserting that he would not tolerate being manipulated. As the divine child of the Nangong family, he could not be a pawn in anyone's game. The guards of Xing Yukong were struck with terror, realizing the severity of Nangong Hao's decree, yet they were powerless to resist as they were dragged away. Nangong Hao then ascended to his designated throne, which was adorned with intricate carvings and precious gems, radiating opulence. However, even the most extravagant treasures paled in comparison to his extraordinary visage. Once seated, an imperial aura enveloped the space, an invisible force pressing down upon the guests, compelling them to kneel in reverence. Their astonishment grew as they realized that Nangong Hao had attained the Wang Ho realm. When had he experienced such a breakthrough? Was it not said that one could only ascend in rank after unlocking each chain of the Tianqian divine body? How could he have already unlocked the third chain? Today marked the ceremony of Nangong Hao's coming of age, and those present were honored to witness this momentous occasion. Nangong Xiong, standing beside him, remarked indifferently that it was indeed a privilege for all attendees. Upon hearing this, the crowd erupted with murmurs of disbelief, for among them were representatives of other immortal forces, who had come to observe, not to pay homage to Nangong Hao. They felt that they had been belittled by his father's words, questioning how a mere child, regardless of his talents, could warrant such honor. Was it a certainty that he would one day become an emperor? The skepticism was palpable among several factions. Yet, Nangong Xiong merely smiled and took a step back, remaining silent. In the next moment, an overwhelming aura emanated from Nangong Hao, proclaiming a divine presence that only the inheritor of an emperor could possess. This phenomenon could not be wielded in battle, but served to enlighten all in attendance of the gravity of their situation. They were in the presence of a future emperor. A chorus of kneeling voices filled the air, as even the representatives of other immortal forces succumbed to fear, bowing down in submission. They had been proven wrong. The divine child of the Nangong family was indeed an emperor's heir, destined for greatness. Chapter 45. Must the two sisters unite? When unparalleled beauty and supreme talent converge within a single being, none can bear to harm such an individual, much like Nangong Hao. Everyone recognized him as the Tianqian divine body, capable of bringing calamity, yet the formidable beings of the Guanyuan heavenly domain found it impossible to strike against him. Such a perfect existence resembled a true celestial being, leaving no one willing to act against him. Under the watchful eyes of many who admired, envied, and even harbored jealousy, Nangong Hao completed his coming-of-age ceremony, officially stepping into adulthood within the Guanyuan heavenly domain. This meant he was now eligible for marriage. However, both Nangong Hao and Qin Shuyao concurred that it was too early for marriage, suggesting they could discuss it later. Consequently, Nangong Xiong had no choice but to establish a marriage pact with the Qin family during the ceremony, thereby solidifying the verbal agreement made by their parents. Lacking interest in the proceedings, Nangong Hao sought a reason to depart early, and naturally, Qin Shuyao was unwilling to linger, choosing to accompany him. Together, they arrived at the opulent palace where Nangong Hao resided. Observing the lavish surroundings, Qin Xiao remarked on the grandeur of the immortal forces, lamenting her own modest abode, which merely consisted of a larger courtyard. Nangong Hao inquired curiously why the Qin family resided in such a remote area. Qin Shuyao replied, somewhat uncertain. It was said their ancestors were suppressing something there. Nan Gonghao nodded slightly, realizing the situation. Why not simply reside here for a while and venture into the Hai Wang Mi Jing together? He suggested. Qin Shui Yao readily agreed. That sounds good. But since you have just entered the Wang Ho realm, shouldn't you stabilize your foundation first? The Wang Ho realm differs from other realms. It does not have the distinctions of 9 or 10 levels. Instead, it is divided into 4 tiers: Lower Wang Ho, Middle Wang Ho, Upper Wang Ho, and Tianzi. The primary method of categorizing Wang Ho is based on how many layers of the Disha world one can access. Legend has it that the universe is multifaceted, with various worlds of differing strengths and sizes existing, some enduring for eons while others fleeting. Among these, the most formidable are 3: the Tianyu world, where Nan Gonghao resides, encompassing boundless celestial domains; the Disha world, replete with endless Yin spirits; and the Tiangang world, home to countless celestial deities. Practitioners of the Wang Ho realm must refine their Qi domain into a complete miniature world, which in turn absorbs the Earth's Yin energy from the Disha world. Within this small world, they condense the vast expanse of land, allowing the Wang Ho to ascend to the position of Tianzi, the sovereign of myriad territories. Only by achieving the title of Tianzi can one progress to the Huangzi realm, which requires entering the Tiangang world, absorbing pure spiritual energy, and mastering more celestial laws. At present, Nan Gonghao has already condensed his miniature world and possesses the support of Xian Huangqi, making him unparalleled in the completeness of his world, even compared to the Tianzi. However, true combat differs significantly. Tianzi possessed the ability to draw almost limitless power from the Disha world. Hence, Nan Gonghao's immediate priority is to enter the Disha world to absorb strength. The Disha world consists of 72 layers, and for every 20 layers traversed, one can ascend a level. Suddenly, Nan Gonghao raised his gaze toward Qin Shui Yao. What is your current realm? Upper Wang Ho. 69 layers of the Disha world. Qin Shui Yao replied nonchalantly, as if it were an ordinary matter. Yet, attaining this realm at the age of 14 is a rare feat in the Guang Yuan Tianyu, especially considering she hails from a first-rate power. Had she been born into a more prestigious lineage, her accomplishments would likely be even greater. A confident smile graced Nan Gonghao's face. It seems I must strive harder, lest I fall behind you. Qin Shui Yao, exuding even more confidence, replied, You may catch up to me in just a few days. A few days? That hardly seems sufficient, Nan Gonghao replied, shaking his head as he made his way to the training hall. Watching his retreating figure, Qin Shui Yao contemplated warning him not to hastily traverse the Disha world, as those realms cannot simply be passed through. However, she hesitated, believing that Nan Gonghao was likely already aware, and opted to remain silent. Meanwhile, she needed to find a solution for her cousin's dilemma. Previously suggesting her cousin marry Nan Gonghao, the girl now clung to the idea, insisting on being with him. It was quite vexing. Must both sisters truly end up being taken advantage of by this fellow? Seated upon the Wu Dao stone, Nan Gonghao swiftly entered a state of cultivation. Neither the Disha world nor the Tiangang world can be accessed physically, at least not by someone of Nan Gonghao's current realm. In the Kai Fu realm, every practitioner must condense 3 life souls: heaven, earth, and man. At that time, Nan Gonghao believed it was merely a matter of connecting with the laws of the universe through these souls to unleash their power. Now, he comprehends the meaning behind the Kai Fu realm's phrase, the 2 souls of heaven and earth always remain outside, while only the life soul dwells within. To enter the Disha world, one must utilize the earth soul. Nan Gonghao forcefully summoned his earth soul. His 3 souls were exceptionally powerful during the Kai Fu realm, and, after further cultivation in the Qi domain, separation from his body posed no issue, granting him formidable combat prowess. To be cautious, he enveloped his earth soul with Xian Huang Qi. The Nan Gong family possesses the secret methods to breach the protective barrier of the Disha world, and Nan Gonghao effortlessly employed these methods to shatter the barrier and step inside. He found himself in a cold, oppressive world, shrouded in darkness, where the faint sounds of wailing echoed in the distance. These were the cries of the underground Yin spirits, formless entities devoid of consciousness or body. They emerged from unknown origins, numerous yet ephemeral, with some living only a day or even an hour. Upon entering the Disha world, Nan Gonghao observed that at least 7 or 8,000 Yin spirits had already flickered into existence around him. As he intruded upon this realm, the Disha world trembled. What a delightful scent! An outsider. Such pure soul energy, I must consume, devour. Devour. A horde of Een spirits surged towards him, relentless as the tide, each wave crashing upon the next, an unending assault. These unfortunate beings wielded no power. Their method of attack was to expend their own lives in a futile effort to exhaust the intruder. Yet, Nan Gonghao remained unfazed. Enveloped in Xian Huang Qi, he allowed the Een spirits to collide with him, one after another, perishing without inflicting any toll upon him. What a feeble world. Traversing should be a simple task. Alas, it is not so straightforward. One must subdue the strongest here, Nan Gonghao mused. There are two ways to enhance one's power in the Wangho realm. The first is to traverse each layer of the underground world, leaving behind one's soul imprint, thereby harnessing the power of that world. The second is to conquer the strongest beings within each layer and absorb their power through them. The latter method greatly amplifies the strength of the Wang Ho and enhances their understanding of the Earth's power through the conquered Een spirits. Thus, most strong practitioners or prodigies opt for the second approach, and Nan Gonghao is no exception. However, many powerful individuals have already subdued the strongest entities within the Disha world, leaving Nan Gonghao uncertain if he would find sufficiently strong opponents. Chapter 46. The Fox Demon Loli and the Een Spirit Empire. While Nan Gonghao immersed himself in the Disha world, seeking powerful Een spirits. In a vast forest within the Dongqing Chung domain, the celestial demoness Si-Tu Rue sat bloodied in a hollow. Beside her was a slightly panicked young girl, appearing quite innocent, with two adorable fox ears atop her head and a fluffy tail swinging anxiously behind her. This was a fox demon. The Fox Demon clan is typically characterized by handsome men and stunning women, especially the women, who are renowned for their breathtaking beauty and allure. At this moment, despite her dirty face and evident fear, the young fox could not conceal her astonishing beauty. "Little Rue, are you all right?" the young fox asked, her eyes brimming with tears. "I'm fine, I can still endure. Dongqing Chung, and those who are hunting me will eventually pay this debt." Si-Tu Rue's face was etched with fury. The little fox demon, with a pitiful expression, replied, "I'm sorry, it's all my fault. If it weren't for saving me, you wouldn't be in this predicament. I couldn't bear to see that beast insult you. How dare that mere son-in-law act so brazenly? When I reach Zhongzhou, I will certainly inform the War God Palace about the misdeeds of that scoundrel in the eastern wilderness." Si-Tu Rue sneered. The little fox sighed, realizing that Si-Tu Rue was merely venting her frustration. Both of them were of lowly strength. How could they possibly reach such a place as Zhongzhou? As they sat in silence, footsteps suddenly echoed above them. "Hey, why are those two little girls running so quickly? Could they possess a spatial jade token? Perhaps, after all, on that day, the Tianma Xianu plundered all the resources of the Sidu family. It would not be surprising if she possessed such an object. It is regrettable that if it were not for the commotion caused by that Nangong family's divine child, which drew away most of the experts, the Tianma Xianu would undoubtedly not have escaped. That divine child cannot be faring well either. In just 2 days, the Hai Wang Mijing will open, and many will be waiting to enter and slay him. It is said that the great Emperor Ling Yun, who previously conferred the status of heir to the Nangong family's divine child, has also entered the Hai Wang Mijing, attracting numerous experts to pursue him. Yes, I have heard that there will be reincarnated masters attempting to enter as well. The voices of conversation grew fainter. Concealed underground, Si-Tu Rue listened intently, her eyes filled with emotion. "Young master, I never expected it would be you who saved me once more. How can I repay this kindness? No, I must go to the Hai Wang Mijing. Even if it costs me my life, I will assist the young master in fending off those powerful attackers." Si-Tu Rue's gaze was resolute. The little fox demon, however, looked bewildered. "Sister, how exceptional is this young master that you constantly think of him?" Observing the adorable little lowly fox demon, Si-Tu Rue smiled. "You will understand when you meet my young master. He is a peerless prodigy capable of suppressing the ages." "Oh." The little fox demon still did not fully comprehend, shaking her little ears adorably, attempting to charm her way through. "Let us go to the Shihai tribe." The mere thought of her young master filled Si-Tu Rue with boundless energy, and she immediately tugged the little fox demon and dashed out of the cave. They had not traveled far when a figure appeared at the cave's entrance. It was a slender man, rather handsome, emanating a formidable aura with cold eyes. Boom! The cave was trampled. They managed to escape again. Fortunately, I possessed the tracking techniques of the Zhan Shengong. They headed west. That seems to be the Shihai tribe. Could they be aiming for the Hai Wang Mijing? How intriguing. I have heard that a great Emperor Ling Yun has entered the Hai Wang Mi Jing, drawing countless powerful figures to pursue him. Indeed, this is a wild land, filled with a group of foolish individuals who have never seen the world. Is the great Emperor Ling Yun so rare? The man sneered, then vanished from sight. He too headed westward. Nangong Hao swiftly searched within the Yinsha world. This Disha world is boundlessly vast. The powerful Yin spirits seem to possess some intelligence, knowing how to hide. As he could not find any formidable Yin spirits to conquer, Nangong Hao gradually lost patience. Since I cannot find them, I shall cultivate one. There were plenty of ordinary Yin spirits around. Nangong Hao casually caught one. The Yin spirit was formless, merely an ethereal body, yet Nangong Hao could sense its struggle, its bloodlust, its thirst for slaughter. Nangong Hao directly infused it with Xuan Huang Qi, intending to cultivate it. In the next moment, the Yin spirit exploded. The Xuan Huang Qi was too powerful for the Yin spirit to withstand. Nangong Hao remained undeterred and continued to catch a second one, but the same fate befell it. Then a third, a fourth, a fifth, the 10-086th1. Finally, one Yin spirit could endure the Xuan Huang Qi. Although it was on the brink of explosion, it ultimately managed to hold on. Nangong Hao immediately absorbed the vast number of surrounding Yin spirits, transforming them into pure energy and infusing it into this Yin spirit he controlled. As the Yin spirit's power and Xuan Huang Qi continuously merged, it gradually stabilized. Though it lacked consciousness, it became exceedingly powerful. Nangong Hao promptly left his mark within its body and named it Xiaoyi. As it was the first Yin spirit, there would be Xiao San to follow. Nangong Hao cast Xiaoyi out, instructing in a deep voice, "Go, devour." Xiaoyi let out a low growl and immediately pounced upon its former companions. It was inherently bloodthirsty, and with Nangong Hao's soul imprint issuing commands, its hunger for slaughter intensified. Furthermore, with the Xuan Huang Qi, it faced no resistance in devouring its kin. Soon, Xiaoyi grew, its form expanding from the size of a palm to that of an elephant. Nangong Hao displayed a satisfied expression and continued his descent to the next layer of the Disha world. Upon reaching the second layer, he decided against searching for any powerful Yin spirits again. Following the previous method, he once more birthed a Yin spirit, Xiao. Then he proceeded to the third layer, the fourth, the fifth. The Disha world requires constant consumption of soul power. Even if one does nothing, merely remaining in this world consumes energy. Therefore, typically, cultivators entering the royal realm can only traverse 2 or 3 layers before their soul power is nearly depleted, prompting their return. Some exceptional prodigies, knowing that conquering powerful Yin spirits requires time, may last 4 or 5 layers before needing to rest. Those of superior talent can traverse 20 layers in one go. Nangong Hao, prior to descending, neglected to check the detailed records of the royal realm, unaware of the highest record. Of course, he had no desire for comparison. Knowing he would always be the strongest, layer by layer, Nangong Hao continued to traverse the Disha world, neglecting to search for powerful spirits and directly cultivating one. However, upon reaching the 60th layer of the Disha world, he encountered an obstruction. For here, a kingdom had emerged, the Yinling Empire. Chapter 47. Nangong Hao achieves the celestial sovereign realm. Outsider, dare to invade my kingdom? Be destroyed. A roar erupted from within the Yinling Empire. Subsequently, a massive Yin spirit emperor manifested. This spirit towered hundreds of feet tall, wielding a weapon, yet still relied on brute strength to battle. Nanghaus condense. The Xuan Huang Qi abruptly condensed into a towering edifice. This 9-story tower radiated with Xuan Huang light, emanating a heavy power that fiercely suppressed the Yin spirit emperor's head. Moments ago, the once arrogant Yin spirit emperor let out a chilling scream. "Do not kill me. Spare my life. I am willing to submit." It seems that after enduring endless torment from cultivators over the ages, this emperor is quite wise. Nangong Hao sneered and infused a strand of Xuan Huang Qi into the Yin spirit emperor, leaving behind his soul imprint before continuing downward. The moment he departed, the Yin spirit emperor immediately let out a sinister laugh. "Fool, do you really think I'm so easy to subdue?" This Yin spirit emperor was quite clever. It was not the first time he had been branded with a soul imprint, and he had already found ways to remove them. At this moment, he sought to imitate previous methods to eliminate the soul imprint left by Nangong Hao, severing his retreat and preventing him from returning. However, he did not anticipate that the Yin spirit emperor would fail. Nangong Hao's imprint was resilient and powerful, instilling a sense of despair within the Yin spirit emperor. Nangong Hao continued downward, and with each descent, the Yin's spirits grew stronger. Not only was there the Yinling Empire, but also Yin's spirit cultivators. The stronger, the better. Nangong Hao slaughtered layer by layer, arriving at the 69th layer, where Qin Shuiyao resided. Upon coming here, Nangong Hao finally understood why Qin Shuiyao had not yet penetrated the 70th layer of the Disha world. The entrance to the 70th layer was no longer obstructed by the previous film-like barriers. Instead, a massive black door stood in the way. The door towered to the heavens, its top unseen, exuding a heavy and oppressive power. On each of the two doors, a ferocious demon was painted. The demons seemed alive, radiating a power that could restrain souls, deterring any rash actions. The cold, piercing gazes of the two demons fixated upon Nangong Hao. It was as if the moment he took a step forward, he would be annihilated. Unfortunately, these two beings may frighten others, but they could not intimidate Nangong Hao. Open the door for this divine child. Nangong Hao's Xianhuang energy transformed into a formidable hammer. When utilized for defense, it is unparalleled across the realm. When wielded for offense, it is utterly devastating, especially within the Tiangang Disha world. This unique power instills fear in all. The two demons, initially fierce and menacing, were rendered terrified upon witnessing the arrival of the Xianhuang energy, fleeing in panic and horror. With a thunderous crash, the black gate was forcefully breached. Nangong Hao strode forward with purpose, entering a completely new world teeming with numerous spectral beings, astonishingly possessing tangible forms. Even more shocking was the existence of a marketplace for trade, guards maintaining order, and various sects actively recruiting disciples. It was as if he had stepped into a celestial domain. Nangong Hao paused, momentarily believing he had returned to the mortal realm. Were these mere illusions? Hesitantly, he grasped a passing spectral citizen, squeezing tightly. The citizen let out a wail, confirming his corporeal existence, complete with the emotional expressions typical of any normal individual. The Disha world was meant for cultivators to practice, yet it had evolved to such an extent. Nangong Hao was astounded. However, what astonished him even more was yet to come. A squad of guards rushed over, sternly demanding to know who was committing violence in the streets. Ignoring the guards, Nangong Hao soared into the air, surveying the vast expanse. He beheld countless nations and cities inhabited by spectral citizens. Some lived prosperously, while others struggled in hardship. Confounded, he seized a city lord who was devouring spectral citizens, pressing for answers. "Who do you serve?" "We serve the Mu Yi Tianzi," the city lord replied, trembling with fear. Nangong Hao furrowed his brow. "Tianzi? Is it of the Wang Ho realm, or a native spectral Tianzi? Is the Mu Yi Tianzi present here?" He pressed further. "No, you are an outsider. The Tianzi resides in your world. To achieve the Tianzi realm, cultivators must possess their own territory and subjects in the Disha world." The city lord explained, quaking in trepidation. Nangong Hao realized the implications. He had briefly reviewed information on the Wang Ho realm upon his descent. In that moment of astonishment, he had failed to connect the dots. The knowledge of the Wang Ho realm now flooded his mind. There are 4 tiers within the Wang Ho realm: lower, middle, upper Wang Ho, and Tianzi. The first 3 levels require traversing through 69 layers of the world. Upon reaching the 70th layer and establishing a power with territory and subjects, one can ascend to the Tianzi, wielding immense strength. It is said that even a novice Tianzi can contend with 10 upper Wang House. To become a Tianzi, one may either conquer existing territories or establish their own power. However, seizing another Tianzi's territory is fraught with difficulties, requiring not only the vanquishing of the region's strongest, but also the recognition of the spectral citizens. In essence, it is akin to a coup. Merely becoming the emperor is insufficient. One must also conquer the subjects of those territories. Otherwise, the populace may overthrow your rule, rendering your efforts futile. This is why many Tianzi treat their spectral citizens well. For example, providing cultivation techniques, establishing sects, and ensuring protection for their citizens fosters loyalty and prevents other Tianzi from encroaching. These territories often engage in warfare, attacking one another to expand their own domains. For a Tianzi, the larger and more stable the spectral world, the greater their potential strength. Conversely, chaotic territories, where citizens are freely consumed and killed, reflect the Tianzi's negligence or the demise of the powerful being governing that realm within the celestial domain. Nangong Hao could indeed seize these disordered territories. However, time was limited, and he could not manage it alone. He resolved, as before, to cultivate a representative in this world. Conveniently, Near the city lord who had been feasting on spectral citizens stood a small spectral boy. The boy, having just lost his parents to the lord's gluttony, glared at him with deep resentment. Nangong Hao felt a stirring in his heart and asked the boy, "Do you desire vengeance?" The boy, taken aback, quickly knelt and bowed repeatedly. "Immortal, please take me as your disciple. I am willing to serve you." This child was astute, and his eyes revealed a fierce determination. Such individuals typically lead lives of obscurity, but given the right opportunity, they can soar to greatness, transforming into formidable forces. While others might have swiftly eliminated the boy to eliminate future threats, Nangong Hao remained unperturbed. He was confident that he could suppress the ancient era. No one could escape his grasp. "Child, I entrust you with the Xianwang energy. Quickly establish a territory." Nangong Hao infused the child with a surge of Xianwang energy. The growth cycle of the Disha world differs from that of other realms, with the average lifespan of ordinary spectral beings being around 10 years. Therefore, Nangong Hao was unconcerned about the boy's youth. He would soon mature. Chapter 48. Heaven and Earth Acknowledge. Nangong Hao receives the human sovereign seal above the surface. Nangong Hao sat cross-legged on the Wu Dao stone, deeply penetrating the underground world. Qin Shuiyao safeguarded him while fervently attempting to dissuade her stunning companion, a girl of merely 14. Though still youthful, she possessed an unparalleled beauty that could captivate countless hearts. Simply standing there, she radiated an ethereal glow, akin to a celestial being gracing the mortal realm, provoking desire. Yet at that moment, this enchanting girl, who could drive any man into madness with her beauty, gazed longingly at Nangong Hao. "Sister, is it true that I can marry my brother-in-law?" No, he is my man, so you should call a brother-in-law from now on." Her admiration was palpable as she swooned over his striking appearance. Qin Shuiyao felt a headache coming on. "Sister is a great beauty. Could you not exhibit a bit more restraint? I can be frigid towards other men," Qin Yinner replied earnestly, before turning back to Nangong Hao with infatuation. "But with my brother-in-law, I allow him to ravage me. He is simply too handsome and so commanding." Qin Shuiyao struggled to suppress her rising irritation. "He hasn't even acted yet. How can he be commanding?" Qin Yinner shook her head. "You don't understand. His commanding presence emanates from within." "All right, I admit my ignorance. Let's discuss serious matters. The previous message I sent you via flying sword was a misunderstanding. You two cannot be together, understand?" Qin Shuiyao asserted gravely. Qin Yinner gasped in shock, exclaiming, "Sister, how can you be so heartless? Why should you monopolize such a remarkable man?" "Fine, if you insist on keeping him to yourself. Then let me be frank. If you allow me to be with my brother-in-law, we can consider the matter settled. Otherwise, you can wait for me to secretly be with him while you remain alone." Qin Shuiyao was taken aback. "You, an unmatched beauty, would rather be a third party than let me have my man?" But glancing at Nangong Hao, her anger flared anew. This scoundrel, why must he be so handsome? Surely, he would attract more than just Qin Yinner. Should she really watch him form a harem? Even if he did, she demanded to be the queen. No, what am I thinking? Why should I, a proud daughter of heaven, be reduced to a member of this loathsome man's harem? Yet, witnessing Qin Yinner's infatuated demeanor, Qin Shuiyao reluctantly conceded. "Yinner, let us make a pact. At most, it shall be you and your brother-in-law, and together we shall prevent him from seeking other women. All right?" Qin Yinner's eyes sparkled with excitement as she nodded repeatedly, exclaiming, All right. I knew you were the best, sister. But on another note, how far do you think brother-in-law can ascend in the Disha world?" Qin Shuiyao frowned, responding, "Could you refrain from calling him brother-in-law? It feels rather awkward. After all, I have agreed to your relationship. You could call him husband if you wish. It doesn't matter, as long as brother-in-law is happy. I can call him whatever he likes, even master. Can't you show a bit more ambition?" Qin Shuiyao remarked, her face filled with exasperation. However, she realized that it was futile to reason with someone so infatuated with appearances. Qin Shuiyao turned her serious gaze toward Nangong Hao, analyzing, "His talent is exceptional, undoubtedly on par with mine. He can reach the 69th level of the Disha world in a day. Wow, I've been in the Wangho realm for a year and have only reached the 50th level, and yet, there are still many admirers who call me a daughter of destiny. Brother-in-law is truly the most formidable. I admire him so much." Qin Yinner gazed at Nangong Hao with starry eyes, her enchanting beauty radiating an infatuated expression that felt entirely natural, though it might shatter the hearts of many men. Watching this, Qin Shuiyao couldn't help but reflect. If Qin Yinner's suitors were to witness her forsaking all to fawn over Nangong Hao, it would surely lead to their utter dismay. Suddenly, the earth trembled, and an overwhelming aura of kingship was released. Qin Shuiyao was momentarily stunned, her expression transforming drastically. The Son of Heaven. Nangong Hao had attained the title of Son of Heaven. Qin Yinner was equally astonished. No way. The Son of Heaven in a single day. In the next moment, a true dragon broke through the void, spiraling above the Nangong family and letting out a long, resounding cry. Subsequently, that true dragon transformed into a seal, shaking the void for miles. The Renhuang seal. It is said that only after breaking through to the Wangho realm and entering the Disha world for the first time, and advancing to the 70th level with terrifying talent, can one have the chance to obtain the Renhuang seal. This is a recognition from the heavens and earth. The members of the Nangong family were astonished, though they had grown accustomed to such wonders with Nangong Hao. The family's ancestor, Nangong Wushuang, gazed at the sky with a sense of admiration. Damn it, Nangong Hao truly lives up to his name, the Son of Heaven in a single day. Nangong Ritian. The Renhuang seal gently descended, merging into Nangong Hao's body. Whenever he wished, he could summon it at any time. This would be his kingly treasure. Those in the Wangho realm possess their own exclusive kingly treasures. The lowest tier is self-refined. The middle tier is crafted with the assistance of powerful family members. And the highest tier is formed through the condensation of the heavens and earth. Nangong Hao's Renhuang seal undoubtedly ranks among the finest of the high-tier treasures, capable of growing alongside him. Yet when Nangong Hao awoke, his expression was grim. I cannot seem to advance into the 71st level world. Upon hearing this, Qin Shuiyao let out a bitter laugh. The 71st level world has an empire governed by the Disha world itself. Any foreign son of heaven wishing to enter must gain the other party's acknowledgement. Does that mean I have to pay homage to a mere shadow spirit? Is there no other way to get in? Nangong Hao frowned in dissatisfaction. There is. Nangong Wushuang appeared in the Great Hall. You could force your way in with overwhelming strength, but there's no time for that. The secret realm is about to open. Indeed, had I not known the time was short, I would have certainly barged in. Nangong Hao expressed some regret. My cultivation speed is still too slow. Upon hearing this, the three bystanders felt their hearts tremble, nearly breaking down. You're only 14, a Wang Ho, and already a Son of Heaven, and yet you say your cultivation speed is slow? If it weren't for the shackles of the heavenly punishment divine body dragging you down, you'd probably be a supreme by now. Nangong Hao set aside his regret and looked toward Nangong Wushuang. Ancestor, are we ready to depart? Tomorrow marks the opening of the secret realm. I initially intended to wait for you to awaken and use the Imperial artifact to transport you there. However, since you have concluded your cultivation early, we shall travel by carriage. Let us not be too ostentatious. Nangong Wushuang replied calmly. Nangong Hao naturally agreed. Qin Shuiyao also felt that it was better to be low-key. After all, Nangong Hao was currently the center of attention, and wherever he went, countless people sought to target him. A discreet entrance would yield only benefits and no drawbacks. Yet Qin Shuiyao soon realized her youthfulness. The small scene that Nangong Wushuang referred to involved three ancient holy beast descendants of the Wangho realm pulling a divine carriage, accompanied by 5 former emperors as guards. Furthermore, an expeditionary force composed of elite descendants from the 4 branches of the Nangong family, namely Tian, Di, Xian, and Huang, also joined the entourage. The spectacle was grand enough to rival that of a divine king's outing. So, this is what you Nangong family call a small scene? Qin Shuiyao felt helpless. However, Qin Yinner found it entirely reasonable. My brother Hao should indeed be surrounded by such a grand entourage. It befits his status. Standing atop the divine carriage, Nangong Hao gazed ahead, exuding an aura of dominance. Onward. Our destination is the Hai Wang secret realm. The many disciples of the Nangong family responded thunderously, their momentum soaring as if an emperor was surveying his dominion, advancing toward the West Sea tribe, with none daring to impede their passage. Chapter 49. The Battle God Palace of Zhongzhou, the old demon who seized the son-in-law's body. As Nangong Hao traveled in the divine carriage toward the secret realm, he felt quite uncomfortable. This was largely due to Qin Yinner standing beside him, her eyes forever fixated on him. Though Qin Yinner was undeniably beautiful and had an alluring figure, especially when clad in a crimson soft armor that accentuated her curves, being gazed at so intently by a woman was still unsettling. Moreover, Nangong Hao was no stranger to beautiful women's attention, making it difficult for him to understand the exhilaration that an ordinary person might feel when a girl merely glanced at them. Yinner, could you perhaps admire the scenery instead? Nangong Hao said helplessly. In this world, Nothing is more beautiful than you. Qin Yinner smiled shyly, her beauty captivating, yet her gaze remained locked on Nan Gonghao. Damn it, I'm being flirted with. Nan Gonghao chuckled wryly. Xu Yao, can't you do something about this? What can I do? She's already planning to be your maid. Qin Xu Yao replied disdainfully. Really? Nan Gonghao replied with a mischievous grin, deliberately teasing Qin Yinner. I can be quite ruthless. However, Qin Yinner replied with unwavering devotion. I'm not afraid. What can someone like you do, no matter how ruthless? Nan Gonghao sighed in resignation, shaking his head and choosing to ignore the infatuated girl. Fortunately, they moved swiftly, soon arriving at the entrance of the Hai Wang secret realm. At this point, the area was already teeming with people. Although the Hai Wang secret realm opened annually, it was typically said to be fully accessible to the Donghuang region. The reality was that it was primarily the four indomitable forces of Donghuang sending representatives to reap some benefits. Other first-class or second- and third-rate forces seldom dared to aspire for entry. After all, once inside, not only would they gain nothing, but they would also offend the Wesi tribe. It simply wasn't worth it. However, this time was different. With the arrival of the emperor's spiritual resonance, everyone wanted to enter and seize the opportunity. Perhaps one could truly become an emperor? Dreams are worth having. Nan Gonghao arrived relatively late, and the area was already packed with people, all available spots taken. However, as the Nangong family approached, everyone instinctively parted to create a path. The Nangong family proceeded directly to the forefront, standing alongside the other three indomitable forces. The four indomitable forces were well aware of the emperor's spiritual resonance, and with Nan Gonghao's presence, they all dispatched their most core disciples. The array of talented individuals was overwhelming, each radiating pride. Yet the most striking was undoubtedly Nan Gonghao, whose presence drew the attention of every onlooker, their gazes fixed upon him. As the bearer of the heavenly punishment divine body and wielder of a quasi-imperial artifact, countless individuals wished to eliminate him within the secret realm. Nan Gonghao, however, felt no fear. With his hands clasped behind his back, he stood proudly atop the divine carriage, surveying the surroundings as if he were an emperor of ancient times. He spoke not a word, nor did he exhibit any intent of provocation. Yet this simple act of overlooking made all the talented individuals' expressions shift dramatically. They felt as if Nan Gonghao regarded them as mere subjects. What nonsense! A mere divine son, yet so arrogant even in the face of death. Observing his demeanor, one might assume he takes great pride in being the heir to the throne. Alas, such pride shall soon be usurped. His cultivation is but that of a noble lord. Had it not been for the need to enter the secret realm, I would have already surpassed the noble ranks and ascended to emperor. How dare he challenge me so brazenly? With my presence, he is doomed. Nan Gonghao, remember this. The one who shall claim your life is from Bei Wugua, In Wusheng. These prodigies are all full of bravado, openly declaring their intent to slay Nan Gonghao. Even if the Nan Gong family holds a grudge against them, it matters not. Such is the nature of prodigies, proud, confident, and invincible. As Nan Gonghao gazed upon those who sought his demise, a smile crept upon his face instead of anger. Indeed, engaging in battle with the strong is what renders life interesting. If these individuals were to kneel before me, it would be utterly dull. He laughed heartily, reveling in the moment. These proud prodigies are confident, but so too is Nan Gonghao. The secret realm has yet to open. Yet the eyes and auras of all prodigies are already clashing. Hostile. The skies have been stirred, and the winds howl ominously. From a distance, weaker factions watch with envy and trepidation. In a far-off place, three pairs of eyes are fixed upon Nan Gonghao. Two of them belong to the enchanting and wicked Tian Mo Xianu, Situ Rue, who is filled with excitement and admiration. Although she has witnessed Nan Gonghao grow, her infatuation as his ardent admirer remains unabated. Beside her, the fox demon child, Xiao Luo Li, gazes at Nan Gonghao in astonishment. So handsome. He seems even more striking than our Fox Clan Supreme Being, though alas, his strength is lacking. Fear not, for young Master S power is merely constrained by his physique. He will soon surpass your esteemed Fox Clan S Supreme Being. Situ Rue reassured her confidently. Yet, Xiao Luo Li remained silent, unconvinced, believing her own Supreme Being to be superior. Meanwhile, the son-in-law of the Zhao Shengong, who had been tracking these two, stood nearby, coldly observing Nan Gonghao. Just a lucky boy from the barbaric lands, daring to flaunt himself before me? Yet, it is surprising that he possesses the human emperor's seal. His physique is far superior to this useless son-in-law. I did not undergo a body snatch to become a mere waste. It seems time has come to exchange for a better vessel. So the son of the Nangong family, is it? You are formidable, but you shall soon belong to me. A sinister smile crept across the man's face, his eyes gleaming with malevolence. Unbeknownst to anyone, he was an ancient demon who had suffered a fatal injury, necessitating his possession of this worthless son-in-law's body. Now, with the prospect of obtaining a superior vessel in Nangong Hao, he could not resist the temptation. Though merely an immortal force from the wilds, it would suffice to satisfy his ambitions. More importantly, this ancient demon possessed a unique, joyous meditation technique suitable for dual cultivation with women. He had set his sights on the stunning sisters, Qin Shui Yao and Qin Yin. The lecherous glint in his eyes was palpable, even from a distance, felt by Qin Shui Yao. However, both Qin Shui Yao and Qin Yin paid little mind to it, accustomed as they were to the many lustful gazes directed at them. Indeed, these two heavenly beauties had countless admirers. Brother Hao, here, have a grape. Qin Yin said sweetly, peeling a grape and feeding it to Nangong Hao. The sight of a celestial beauty serving a man like a maid shattered the hearts of the many who secretly adored and pursued Qin Yin. Damn it, don't hold me back. I want to kill Nangong Hao. Slay him. Let us fight to the death. My goddess, how could you serve him? If you would only be with me, I would give you everything. Come with me, and I will make you the matriarch of a second-rate faction. I could even have you lead a first-rate faction. Their rage was palpable, and a frenzy of emotions surged among the men, desperate to confront Nangong Hao. Yet, far from feeling fear, Nangong Hao pulled Qin Yin onto his lap, wrapping his arms around her slender waist, and casually remarked, "This divine son wishes for something else." Qin Yin was momentarily stunned by Nangong Hao's boldness, only to be enveloped in a wave of bliss. Brother Hao embraced me. It feels as if I possessed the entire world. Such comfort was overwhelming, and in her heart, she cried, "Brother Hao, I love you." Yet, what did he mean by wanting something else? Realization dawned upon her, and she understood. Was he insinuating he would take her as his own? Her cheeks flushed crimson with embarrassment, radiating beauty that could captivate even the divine. The sound of countless hearts shattering echoed throughout the crowd of men. Chapter 50. Entering the Secret Realm. Reunion of master and servant. Nangong Hao's carefree and unrestrained demeanor stood in stark contrast to the tense atmosphere among the other prodigies. It was no wonder that envy brewed among them. Even Nangong Wushuang could not help but chide. "How, even if you're pretending, at least do so with a semblance of seriousness." Such matters were trivial. He had no true imperial legacy to gain. Nangong Hao was unconcerned. Though the Sea King's secret realm was left behind by an emperor and contained imperial legacies, outsiders would never gain access, as the Shihai clan would undoubtedly do everything in their power to prevent intrusion into the core regions. Besides, even if the emperor were dead, how could he lack means? Surely, the legacy of the Shihai clan would not choose an outsider. Everyone present understood this. Nangong Wushuang immediately countered, "Not necessarily. This year is different. After all, the imperial spirit has entered. Perhaps others will have a chance? If the imperial spirit can indeed make an impact, who do you think has a greater chance, me or the others?" Nangong Hao retorted. Nangong Wushuang was rendered speechless. Having previously garnered the favor of the imperial spirit, if anyone present had a chance for the legacy, aside from the Shihai clan, it would indeed be Nangong Hao. He had no need to feel anxious. Nangong Wushuang remarked, "The other so-called prodigies have only attained their titles through strength, while you, my brother, are truly favored by the heavens. Why do all good fortune seem to favor you? Why, my brother's good looks alone could draw the attention of heaven and earth." Qin Yin proclaimed with pride. Qin Shui Yao shot her a glare. "Have some dignity. Must you fawn so shamelessly? I shall fawn. I shall fawn over Brother Hao." Qin Yin gushed, hugging Nangong Hao. The surrounding crowd wore expressions of disbelief. Yet, Nangong Hao's countenance grew serious as he declared, "The secret realm is opening." Instantly, all eyes turned to the front. Indeed, the entrance to the secret realm was manifesting responses. Waves of spatial fluctuations surged forth, accompanied by the sound of tidal waves. The Sea King's secret realm, naturally, resided within the ocean. A subtle pressure emanated from within. A sage, who had previously entered the secret realm, frowned and remarked, "Something feels off." It was never this oppressive before. Perhaps this time, the Shihai clan can no longer contain the secret realm, an excited sage from Bei Wuguo said. Others nodded in agreement. The arrival of the imperial spirit might have led the Shi-Hai clan to lose control over the Sea King's secret realm. This time, it appeared other factions might have a genuine opportunity to enter the core area. With a hum, the gates of the secret realm swung open. As per usual practice, the members of the Shi-Hai clan entered first. The Shi-Hai clan, dwelling in the sea, retained many aquatic features among their kin, as they lacked a crown prince. The eldest prince led the charge. Riding upon a general whale, he soared through the skies, casting a cold glance back at Nangong Hao before making a throat-cutting gesture. The enmity between the Shi-Hai clan and the Nangong family was long-standing, and now the eldest prince vowed to eradicate Nangong Hao. Following them were the forces of Bai Wuguo. The crown prince of Bai Wuguo has been confined due to matters concerning Situ Rue, yet it is said that he has gained profound insights during his solitude, further enhancing his abilities as he engages in closed-door cultivation. Thus, it is the second prince of Bai Wuguo and the Duke of the State who have arrived this time. Both are of the upper echelon of noble ranks, merely a step away from attaining the emperor's realm. To be frank, Nangong Hao regards them with disdain. Nevertheless, the two still turn to Nangong Hao, offering a chilling smile. Clearly prepared for this encounter, it is likely they bear sacred artifacts or forbidden devices, Nangong Wushuang remarked. Sacred artifacts, crafted by sages, possess formidable power, capable of manifesting entire realms. Forbidden devices, derived from the essence of imperial artifacts, can unleash the strength of an imperial relic. Although they may only be usable once or twice, they are sufficient to annihilate everything. The envoy from Dongqing City has also arrived, represented by their sole Saint Son. At the tender age of 14, he has just surpassed his coming-of-age ceremony. At the pinnacle of the emperor's realm, he stands a mere half-step away from becoming a sovereign. Were it not for the need to enter the secret realm, he might have already taken that final step. This Saint Son had previously maintained a low profile, yet upon his entrance, he immediately overshadowed all other prodigies present. His unparalleled, ancient demeanor rendered him as radiant as the sun, drawing the attention of all. Even Nangong Hao cast a lingering glance his way. The Saint Son of Dongqing City merely glanced at Nangong Hao, his gaze profound, before stepping into the secret realm. Although he uttered not a word, nor displayed any threatening gestures, the members of the Nangong family felt an unprecedented weight of pressure. A sage accompanying them remarked gravely, "Divine Son, this Saint Son from Dongqing City is named Chu Xiaoyuan, a half-step emperor, and possesses one of the strongest physiques, known as the Qinglian sword body." Nangong Hao had indeed heard of him. Born from the ancient Qinglian, he wielded a sword that could vanquish the heavens. It is said that Chu Xiaoyuan did not emerge from the womb, but was instead nurtured from a millennial-old Qinglian located within the forbidden grounds of Dongqing City. Upon his birth, the Qinglian transformed into a sword, becoming his innate spiritual treasure. The Qinglian sword body inherently commands the power of verdant wood and can swiftly master any sword technique, rendering him incredibly formidable. Everyone watched Chu Xiaoyuan's retreating figure with solemnity. After all, a 14-year-old emperor possesses limitless potential, and it is crucial to note that he must be an unparalleled expert within this secret realm. Even many powerful beings reincarnated since ancient times could not hide their astonishment and ire. They felt themselves inferior to Chu Xiaoyuan. However, Nangong Hao merely smiled at the crowd. "This is indeed intriguing. I shall take my leave now. Divine Son, please be cautious. Divine Son, our Nangong family lacks, not in resources. Prioritize your safety. Be vigilant. Do not fall into a trap, Divine Son." A number of Nangong family warriors expressed their deep concern. They understood that while Nangong Hao was formidable in one-on-one combat, the issue lay in the fact that countless individuals were plotting against him. Within the secret realm, it was feared that traps targeting Nangong Hao were already laid out everywhere, and many were likely banding together against him. It was impossible for the Nangong family not to be anxious. Yet, Nangong Hao appeared indifferent, leading Nangong Wushuang and the two maidens, Qin Shuiyao and Xiaoluoli, into the Sea King's secret realm. Upon entry, Nangong Hao beheld an expansive ocean. Towering waves surged to heights of 100 feet, tumultuous and fierce. Beneath the surface, one could occasionally glimpse monstrous sea beasts prowling. In the distance, cultivators continuously plunged into the water, seeking treasures hidden beneath the sea. "Howard, let us dive in," Nangong Wushuang suggested calmly. "I am waiting for someone," Nangong Hao replied with a smile. "Who are you waiting for?" Nangong Wushuang queried, puzzled. "Not for anyone in particular. To find maidservants," he turned. "They're arriving." At that moment, two graceful figures appeared at the entrance of the secret realm. They were the celestial demon evil maiden Situ Rue and the fox demon little Lolita. Upon seeing Nan Gong Hao, the celestial demon evil maiden joyfully stepped forward to pay her respects. Young master. However, Nan Gong Hao ignored Situ Rue, casting a cold gaze toward the entrance of the secret realm. There stood a gaunt man, the consort of the god of War Palace, the ancient demon who had usurped another's body. Chapter 51. The Conspiracy of the Shihai Clan. Dispersing the crowd, the consort of the god of War Palace coldly fixed his gaze upon Nan Gong Hao. Boy, take care of your physical form. Do not let a single mistake occur. Nan Gong Hao frowned. You intend to usurp my body? Hee, you possess some insight, but what of it? The consort sneered. The celestial demon, evil maiden Situ Rue, stepped forward, angrily rebuking. You again. Merely a consort. How dare you act so brazenly? Be cautious of the god of War Palace. The fox demon, little Lolita, trembling with fear, hid behind Situ Rue, her frightened demeanor evoking sympathy. Upon hearing the title consort, Nan Gong Hao's expression turned peculiar. Could he be yet another so-called child of destiny, akin to Su Chun? Indeed, the consort's face was filled with arrogance, merely the god of War Palace. Now that I have returned, I shall claim the throne in this lifetime, and you shall all be my subjects. Ah, indeed, yet another self-proclaimed child of destiny. The trope of a consort's rise is quite cliched, especially with the title of the god of war attached. What is this? The once weak consort returns as a god of war, only to discover his daughter residing in a doghouse, and he roars in anger, commanding 10,000 soldiers to build her a golden doghouse. Nan Gong Hao shook his head with a sigh. You may leave first. I shall return to harvest you like a little chive later. The consort replied indifferently. Nonsensical, yet coincidentally, I have matters to attend to, so I shall let you be for now. Saying this, he directly plunged into the sea, vanishing from sight. Nan Gong Wushuang frowned as she gazed at the disappearing consort. Strange. His power feels familiar, yet I cannot recall where I've seen it. Do not dwell on it. Let us dive in. Nan Gong Hao led the way, plunging into the water. Just as he entered, a sudden alarm surged within him. 3 silver needles, as thin as cow hairs, shot forth toward Nan Gong Hao's head. A royal artifact, an adept at stealth and assassination among the noble ranks? Nan Gong Hao chuckled derisively, casually wielding a bolt of lightning in the form of a long sword, instantly obliterating the 3 needles before driving deep into the vacant ocean below. A scream echoed. A noble realm expert was forced to reveal himself, charred black and already dead. One sword extinguished a noble. Situ Rue exclaimed with delight. Young master, have you become an emperor? Nan Gong Hao nodded, saying nothing further. The fox demon, little Lolita, cautiously observed Nan Gong Hao, harboring a hint of trepidation. Up close, this divine son appeared even more handsome. Alas, his strength still pales in comparison to our Fox Clan supreme being, she thought to herself. Nan Gong Hao and his companions descended further, traversing 500 miles along the ocean floor. Throughout this journey, they faced no fewer than 10 assassination attempts. This clearly indicated that Nan Gong Hao had become a target of universal enmity. However, those who sought to assassinate him met their demise without exception. Upon reaching the ocean bed, Nan Gong Hao surveyed his surroundings, discovering numerous caverns. Within these caverns resided ferocious sea beasts and ancient legacies, largely contingent on the luck of the entrance. Nan Gong Wushuang had inquired about the area before entering, and Nan Gong Hao had also reviewed the materials. Thus, he was well informed. Yet, his interest lay not in these artifacts. These legacies were at most of noble rank, and would scarcely include those of the Emperor realm. His purpose for entering this time was to seek the legacy of the great emperor. Is there any response from the legacy left by the great emperor? Nan Gong Wushuang inquired of Nan Gong Hao. Their hopes rested entirely upon him. Nan Gong Hao shook his head. No reaction. Perhaps the distance is too great, or the Shihai clan has cloaked it. This vast ocean may prove difficult to navigate. Then we shall seek out the Shihai clan and act in concert with them. Nan Gong Wushuang promptly decided. Nan Gong Hao is the heir to the throne, capable of sensing the whispers of legacy. Thus he adheres to his own intuition. In the absence of such sensations, he defers to the wisdom of the venerable Nan Gong Wushuang. This consensus was shared among the group. Moreover, they were not alone in their thoughts. Others were also in pursuit of the Shihai clan. Just as Nan Gong Hao and his companions were about to set forth, an undercurrent surged around them. This was a dire situation. The Shihai clan was scheming. Nan Gong Hao quickly grasped the implications. However, as he uttered these words, he beheld immense waves crashing in the distance. They found themselves at the ocean's depths, where the towering waves reached hundreds of feet, offering no means of evasion. Only a confrontation head-on. Yet before the impact could be felt, Nangong Wushuang bellowed. This is the work of the Imperial artifact. Those beasts of the Shihai clan are resorting to treachery. With a thunderous roar, the waves engulfed them all. Such was the might of the Imperial artifact that not even those of royal or sage status could withstand its force. Caught off guard by the tumultuous onslaught, the group was scattered, thrown apart in a chaotic frenzy. Nangong Hao discerned the Shihai clan's intentions. Their aim was to separate all teams, ensuring that only the Shihai maintained cohesion. Thus, wherever the Shihai traversed, they would be unstoppable, leaving none able to resist. In truth, Nangong Hao harbored an even more sinister suspicion. The Shihai clans sought to isolate them, perhaps to ambush the outstanding talents entering the secret realm, stabilizing himself amidst the waves. A smirk graced Nangong Hao's lips. Is the Shihai clan daring to oppose all forces of the eastern wilderness for the sake of the Emperor's legacy? What emboldens you? The waves continued to surge, relentlessly battering Nangong Hao, while enormous sea creatures swirled amidst them. These denizens of the deep adeptly maneuvered within the tumult, attacking the intruders. Intermittently, anguished cries echoed through the waves, the scent of blood saturating the air. In mere moments, numerous casualties had ensued. Some sea beasts had set their sights on Nangong Hao, and he soon spotted a swift tuna charging toward him, adorned with a sharp, elongated spine. This spine emanated the power of Allahs. Despite the creature being merely of the Keifu realm, though only at the Keifu level, its speed and indomitable spine could easily spell doom for ordinary practitioners of the Chiyu realm. Presently, the tuna was drenched in blood, evidently having claimed several cultivators. Nangong Hao cast a cold glance at the tuna, and in an instant, chains of law entwined around it. With a swift motion, the tuna was obliterated. Yet, immediately after, a colossal tiger shark lunged at him, boasting a higher realm, Chiyu. However, with just a flick of his finger, Nangong Hao eradicated it completely. Growing increasingly impatient, he growled, Shihai clan, I am aware of your presence nearby. Why not send forth some formidable sea beasts? Suddenly, a massive three-headed whale appeared silently behind Nangong Hao. This three-headed whale was of royal status, having refined a small world which it concealed within its mouth. Any being swallowed by it, even a high-ranking noble, would find it nearly impossible to escape. Finally, a creature of some merit had arrived. Nangong Hao mused, only to be swallowed by the three-headed whale. Yet, just as the whale prepared to close its mouth, sealing the small world and attempting to refine Nangong Hao, it was horrified to discover that its jaw could not close. Standing within its maw, Nangong Hao appeared diminutive, yet he seemed to embody a titan, preventing the whale from sealing its mouth. You dare to consume me? Submit or perish. Nangong Hao commanded with a fierce voice, lightning entwining around the three-headed whale. He even deemed it beneath him to utilize the power of the small world against the whale. Chapter 52. Divine Son. You should surrender. Nangong Hao aimed to tame the three-headed whale as his steed, thus conserving energy in the depths of the ocean. The three-headed whale recognized that it could not defy Nangong Hao. It realized that his strength far surpassed its own. Unable to contend with him, it relinquished all thoughts of resistance. I am willing to submit. The three-headed whale nervously expressed its intention to yield. Originally, it belonged to the Shihai clan, and this act was akin to betraying its kin. Yet, it could not afford to dwell on such matters. Nangong Hao emerged from the whale's mouth, standing upon its back. The waves continued to crash, but Nangong Hao needed not concern himself with them, for the three-headed whale effortlessly parted the waters, allowing him to traverse the ocean floor unscathed. Nangong Hao surveyed his surroundings. The area had become scarce of caves, indicating they had ventured into a remote region. Indeed, the Shihai clan, wary of the talents, sought to exile them far away. However, the absence of any Shihai clan members seeking him out was quite unexpected. Nangong Hao had anticipated that the clan would rush to eliminate him. Just as the three-headed whale navigated forward, a voice suddenly called out from the distance. Is there anyone willing to collaborate with me? The Shihai clan is scheming. We must unite. Everyone, come quickly. Nangong Hao frowned and turned to see a practitioner of high royal status, addressing the crowd and seeking allies. To his credit, this individual's strength did indeed attract several other scattered cultivators in the vicinity. 7 or 8 practitioners appeared, all hesitantly gazing at the High Royal. Upon noticing their presence, the High Royal clasped his fists and smiled. I am Suan Shirchuan, the eldest son of the esteemed Suen clan, a practitioner of high royal status. I believe I possess some means of self-preservation in these depths. If anyone is interested, we can collaborate for mutual protection and increase our chances of obtaining the Emperor's legacy. Remarkably, Suen Shirchuan had a knack for rallying others. The allure of the Emperor's legacy had drawn others, and they understood that strength in numbers was paramount. Moreover, upon learning that Suen Shirchuan was from a prestigious lineage, their interest was further piqued. I am willing to join Brother Sun's team, declared one practitioner of the Qiyu realm. Observing this individual's strength, Suen Shirchuan furrowed his brow, while others erupted in derisive laughter. The Qiyu realm practitioner felt somewhat embarrassed and muttered. The Shihai clan did not specify that those of the Qiyu realm were excluded. Suen Shirchuan laughed heartily. Indeed, all newcomers are brethren. Let's stand together. The Qiyu realm practitioner was instantly elated, rushing over with profuse gratitude, eager to ingratiate himself with Suen Shirchuan. Suen Shirchuan had intended for this Qiyu realm practitioner to serve as a figurehead to attract others. With the emergence of the first effector, the second was sure to follow. Now, witnessing the Qiyu realm practitioner skillfully ingratiating himself, Suen Shirchuan's mood lifted further. Soon, two more practitioners of the Qiyu realm stepped forward, seeking protection. This amounted to 4 individuals, followed by several more. Gradually, even low-ranking nobles expressed their willingness to join the team. As Suen Shirchuan's group swelled, the allure of stronger allies grew. Ultimately, the team comprised 3 high-ranking nobles, 2 mid-ranking nobles, 5 low-ranking nobles, and over a dozen practitioners of the Qiyu realm. The sheer number of Qiyu realm practitioners daring to enter the secret realm was beyond many expectations. However, the age limit for the secret realm was 14. Reaching the Qiyu realm at that age indicated considerable talent. It was no surprise that these individuals might feel overconfident and eager to venture forth. Once Nangong Hao noted that Suen Shirchuan had nearly assembled his team, he urged the 3-headed whale to glide closer. From this moment on, you shall all heed my command, Nangong Hao declared, surveying the gathered crowd. Hearing these words, Suen Shirchuan was instantly incensed. After all his efforts to form a team, someone dared to usurp his authority. Sun Shirkuan wore a scornful expression as he directed his gaze towards the Santu Jing. What do you think you are, daring to speak so arrogantly as the divine son of the Nangong family? With Sun Shirchuan's terrified shout, the crowd finally discerned who stood upon the Santu Jing, and they were taken aback. Although they had entertained thoughts of surrounding Nangong Hao, they were acutely aware of the slim chances of success. They merely hoped to seize a small advantage should Nangong Hao find himself in misfortune. However, they never imagined that Nangong Hao would personally appear before them. Sun Shirkuan lost his earlier bravado, and, feeling a surge of anxiety, swallowed hard before weakly saying, Divine Son, is it not inappropriate for you to act this way? These individuals are the fruit of my arduous efforts. The elite lords from the other 2 factions also exhibited signs of tension. Despite their numbers and commendable realms, they found themselves instinctively intimidated in the presence of Nangong Hao. Nangong Hao frowned. I demand your submission, not a discussion. Upon hearing this, the expressions of the crowd shifted dramatically. Sun Shirkuan felt a surge of anger. It became evident to him that Nangong Hao had likely been present all along, merely observing from the sidelines, and had chosen to reveal himself only after he had gathered his followers. How utterly unscrupulous! Sun Shirkuan glanced at the powerful lords beside him, feeling slightly calmed by their presence. Gritting his teeth, he asserted, Divine Son, if you are afraid, I can allow you to temporarily join our ranks. But we shall absolutely not heed your commands. Nangong Hao's patience waned, and he raised his hand to strike. The surrounding waves swiftly converged under his control, transforming into a colossal, transparent water palm. This hand, imbued with the weight of profound laws, possessed the strength to obliterate anything in its path. As it descended towards Sun Shirkuan, the very air grew heavy, forcing all those of the realm to kneel in submission. Sun Shirchuan's complexion paled. He had not anticipated that Nangong Hao would act so decisively. With a roar, he unleashed his small world, summoning the Earth's ominous energy from the Disha world, which coalesced into an endless expanse of land, further consolidating into a vast landscape. Within this small world, 800 Tian-long soared, amplifying their collective might tremendously. Divine Son, I intended to grant you face, yet your arrogance is intolerable. Sun Shirkuan rallied everyone to strike together, asserting that this individual harbored ill intentions, urging caution against being taken down one by one. Once we eliminate this insufferable divine son, his treasures will be ours to share. The practitioners who had initially hesitated soon joined the fray, especially the few lords of the realm who united their efforts. They believed that no matter how strong Nangang Hao might be, he could not withstand their combined assault. The small worlds of several lords intertwined, allowing the Earth's ominous energy to flow freely, coalescing into an expansive landscape with a power tenfold that of an ordinary lord. That landscape not only withstood the descending palm of Nangang Hao, but also retaliated fiercely against him. These individuals were truly intent on subduing Nangang Hao and seizing his treasures. Confidence radiated from Sun Shichuan's face. Divine Son, no matter how formidable you are, can you truly contend against all of us? I advise you to concede or flee swiftly, for then we may pretend we have never seen you. The other lords displayed expressions of anticipation. If they could indeed slay Nangang Hao, their names would echo throughout the realm. Moreover, they would claim the coveted quasi-emperor artifact, the Dizong Binyuan Dao. Yet Nangang Hao merely regarded the descending landscape with indifference. Pathetic. Utterly weak. You have given me no inclination to exert my worldly power. He directly forged a colossal thunderhammer. However, rather than invoking the celestial energy, he drew upon the Earth's ominous energy from the Disha world. He pierced through 70 layers of worlds, leaving behind puppeteering spirits at each level. These spirits had grown exceedingly strong, providing a vast reservoir of Earth's ominous energy. The thunder hammer, now immensely heavy, surged forth towards the landscape coalesced by Sun Shichuan and the others. Chapter 53. Enemies on a Narrow Path. Encountering the prince of Beiwu, Sun Shichuan and his allies attempted to consolidate the vast landscape to overpower Nangang Hao. Yet, they bore witness as Nangang Hao infused the Earth's ominous energy into the thunder hammer, striking it fiercely against the seemingly boundless landscape. Crack! There was scarcely any resistance. The combined landscape of the lords shattered. Gasping sounds echoed as the lords who had attacked staggered back, blood spilling from their mouths. Their blood mingled with the sea, dissipating into the waves, while the lords gazed at Nangang Hao in terror. They had joined forces, expecting that even if they could not kill him, they could at least drive him back. However, they never anticipated their assault would be so effortlessly dismantled, leaving them injured from the backlash. Too powerful. This man is invincible. The faces of Sun Shichuan and the others reflected despair. In an instant, Nangang Hao materialized before Sun Shichuan, delivering a brutal kick to his head. Please don't kill me. Sun Shichuan felt the murderous intent of Nangang Hao and screamed in terror. I am willing to submit. Bang! Sun Shichuan was obliterated under a single foot, blood splattering everywhere. One strike vanquished a lord, a top-tier lord, a product of a first-rate faction. Those surrounding were left dumbfounded by the sheer might of Nangang Hao. One by one, they knelt, fearfully bowing their heads. Master, we were wrong, we submit. As long as you spare us, you shall be our father, our grandfather. Please, Grandfather Nangang, spare us. The crowd cried out in desperation. Nangang Hao gazed at them with derision. So, you do not wish to acknowledge me as your master, but rather to be my grandchildren? The many practitioners flushed with embarrassment, wishing they could find a crevice to hide in. Yet, Nangang Hao did not dwell on their humiliation, coldly stating, release your soul power. The crowd trembled, having guessed Nangang Hao's intentions. However, they understood they could not resist and thus relinquish their souls. Subsequently, Nangang Hao inscribed his mark upon their souls. From this day forth, these individuals would become Nangang Hao's slaves. Go and investigate the relics in the vicinity, with particular attention to the people of the Shihai tribe. Nangang Hao commanded. The crowd dared not defy him and hurried to execute the task. Naturally, they also feared attempting to flee for having been marked as slaves. Even from thousands of miles away, Nangang Hao could extinguish their lives with but a thought. The Santu Jing, observing how Nangang Hao dispatched the crowd, curiously inquired, Master, are you sending them to seek the legacy caves? Why not let me manipulate the sea beast to search? Is your ability to control sea beasts superior to that of the Shihai tribe? Nangang Hao replied indifferently. The Santu Jing felt somewhat embarrassed. Not at all. The Shihai tribe reigns supreme in these waters. They can command any sea beast at will. Nangang Hao scoffed. In that case, if you were to control those sea beasts, not only would you fail to find treasure, but you would only expose my location. While Nangang Hao was not afraid of the Shihai tribe, he preferred to remain undetected, as he intended to stealthily follow them to discover the true location of the great emperor's legacy. It must be said the dispatch practitioners proved remarkably effective. They meticulously searched the vicinity and indeed discovered a legacy cave. When a servant of the realm rushed over to report, his face radiated joy. After all, finding the legacy meant he had accomplished something and would likely avoid death. Although Nangong Hao held little interest in the caves here, he decided to accompany them to take a look. To his surprise, it turned out to be a legacy cave of a monarch-level master. Nangong Hao's interest was piqued as he gazed at the cave entrance and quietly asked, "Who knows how to enter?" A noble approached respectfully and said, "My lord, there are generally two ways to enter the Chuan Chengdong Ku. The first is to gain the recognition of the inheritance, allowing one to enter effortlessly. The second is to forcibly break through. Is it truly possible?" Nangong Hao raised an eyebrow, then summoned the three-headed whale to the entrance of the cave. Attempting to venture inside, a resonant hum echoed as a light barrier blocked his path, accompanied by a cold and arrogant voice from within. "Young one, you are unworthy of my inheritance. Depart." Nangong Hao's gaze turned icy. Are there still living strong beings inside? Someone nearby quickly explained, "No, within this Chuan Chengdong Ku. The last remnants of the consciousness of powerful beings are generally sealed, meant to select suitable inheritors." Realizing this, Nangong Hao understood that it was essentially a greatly weakened echo of a great emperor's spirit, the essence of a cultivator's unwillingness to fade away. Self-sealed here for a destined individual. Were there numerous caves around, he might not have been interested in this one. But with it being the sole cave and the occupants so disrespectful, Nangong Hao was determined to enter. "Ho mp ho, fein huangyin," he declared, summoning a seal. This seal was condensed from true dragon energy, inscribed with two lines, "Commanded by heaven, long-lasting prosperity." The overwhelming power of imperial authority radiated from the Ren Huang Yin, astonishing the surrounding servants who widened their eyes. Although they lacked the Ren Huang Yin, they recognized its significance. At that moment, they understood that losing to Nangong Hao was no injustice. Utilizing Xian Huang Qi, Nangong Hao fiercely struck the barrier of the cave with the Ren Huang Yin. Boom! The cave's barrier shattered instantly, offering no resistance. I expected a top-tier emperor, yet this is all there is." Nangong Hao commanded someone retrieve the inheritance for this prince. Immediately, two nobles hurried into the cave. Before long, they emerged with the skeletal remains and a jade tablet. The remains belonged to the emperor in life, adorned with a faint golden glow, evidently having coalesced into an eternal golden bone. The jade tablet contained the emperor's legacy. "Young one, how dare you brazenly seize my inheritance? Are you courting death?" The remains suddenly emitted a wave of consciousness, seemingly unwilling to relent. "Since you are dead, return to dust and cease your posturing." Nangong Hao struck down with the Ren Huang Yin once more. The lingering consciousness of the remains let out a mournful wail before dissipating completely. The surrounding servants were astonished, their hearts gripped with fear. So domineering, so ruthless. That was an emperor. Had they been in his place, they would have likely knelt and bowed countless times to garner the inheritance. Yet, Nangong Hao annihilated the last vestiges of consciousness and seized it. Indeed, sometimes the disparity between individuals is greater than that between man and beast. Under the watchful eyes of those filled with bitterness and yearning, Nangong Hao summoned the jade tablet, scanning its contents, only to scoff. Mediocre techniques, the divine abilities are subpar. Nevertheless, he accepted it, for through this incident, Nangong Hao finally realized the value of having a multitude of followers. He planned to return and gather some manpower to cultivate his own exclusive faction. He intended to scour for techniques here as rewards for his subordinates in the future. "Continue searching," Nangong Hao commanded. Yes, the many servants dispersed once more to seek out more. Remarkably, these individuals proved quite useful. They discovered 4 or 5 more Chuan Chengdong Ku, the lowest of which contained inheritances of the Tianzi realm, while the highest reached the pinnacle of the Emperor realm. The Shihai clan had indeed thrived in the past. Even this remote sea region harbored so many powerful legacies. One by one, Nangong Hao used the Ren Huang Yin to break through, acquiring 2 low-tier techniques, 1 high-tier technique, and 2 mid-tier techniques. Just as he and his companions reveled in their search for the Chuan Chengdong Ku, he suddenly sensed the disappearance of the 3 slave marks he had left behind. This indicated that the 3 slaves had perished. Had they encountered sea beasts? Intrigued, Nangong Hao flew over to investigate. Yet upon arriving at the location where the slaves vanished, he found only a group of human cultivators and a sage-level Chuan Chengdong Ku. Clearly, those human cultivators had gathered from various factions to form a temporary team. The two leaders were familiar to Nangong Hao, Yin Wuxing, the second prince of Beiwu Kingdom, and their esteemed national marquis, Liang Jioming. Chapter 54. The second prince's mental state also crumbled upon seeing Yin Wuxing and Liang Jioming. The two recognized Nangong Hao riding the three-headed whale. What a narrow road for foes. Yin Wuxing scoffed. Nangong Hao, come down. Do not pretend to be aloof. There aren't so many people to protect you here. Liang Jioming roared sharply. Observing the two's eagerness to stir trouble, Nangong Hao merely smirked disdainfully. Are you familiar with Situ Rue? At this mention, the collective countenance of those present shifted. The demoness Situ Rue had slaughtered the first-rate Situ clan, bringing disgrace to the Beiwu Kingdom. Few in the Donghuang domain were unaware of this incident. Even now, many storytellers recounted it as a farce. The Beiwu Kingdom had long since designated Situ Rue as a high-level wanted criminal, even declaring that anyone associated with her would be opposing the Beiwu Kingdom. After all, the Beiwu Kingdom was an indestructible force, and no one wished to offend them. Thus, whether one knew Situ Rue or had merely seen her, all sought to distance themselves. Yet, as Nangong Hao openly invoked her name, coupled with the undeniable ties Situ Rue had with the Nangong clan, everyone present understood that an intriguing spectacle was about to unfold. Yin Wuxing's expression darkened upon hearing Nangong Hao's words, coldly retorting, "What? Do you intend to admit that you incited Situ Rue to frame the Situ clan?" Nangong Hao quickly shook his head. I did not. Do not speak carelessly. I see you lack the courage." Yin Wuxing mocked. The onlookers gazed at Nangong Hao in astonishment, finding him excessively timid. The second prince merely asked casually, yet this so-called divine son appeared terrified, shaking his head as if it were a rattle drum. Indeed, he had acted so arrogantly outside because there were experts from the Nangong clan present. Now alone, he was utterly cowed. However, just as everyone harbored scorn and disdain, Nangong Hao revealed a playful smile and addressed Yin Wuxing. Why would I incite Situ Rue to frame the Situ clan? I wish for her to annihilate your Beiwu Kingdom. Alas, she unfortunately failed. How disappointing. Upon this proclamation, silence enveloped the crowd. Everyone stared incredulously at Nangong Hao. Was he aware of what he was doing? This was provocation. Indeed, they wondered, with so many of them, did he not feel fear? Did he believe that he could suppress them with his supposed divine status? Nangong Hao felt quite helpless. Yet this statement was viewed as a joke by all. Nangong Hao, do you think I truly know nothing about you? You have only just recently stepped into the realm of nobility. Even with your exceptional talent, nurtured by the Nangong family, you will merely ascend to be an upper-tier noble at best, declared Yin Wuxing with a face full of disdain. Liang Jioming added with a mocking glint in his eyes. Nangong Hao, you attempt to intimidate us with your supposed prowess, yet you are sorely misinformed about the nobility realm. You are undoubtedly aware that above the upper-tier nobles lies the realm of the Son of Heaven. However, do you comprehend that to attain this status, one must shatter the 70th layer of the earthly fiend realm and subsequently establish their own dominion? Nangong Hao stood there, utterly bewildered. Before entering, he had assumed that these two were confident due to some undeniable advantage. After all this commotion, it turned out that these two fools were completely oblivious to the fact that Nangong Hao's cultivation level surpassed theirs. They were attempting to educate him on how to reach the realm of the Son of Heaven. Observing Nangong Hao rendered speechless by their taunts, Liang Jioming expressed his faux sympathy. Have you gone too far in your pretense? Do you wish to masquerade as a superior being to frighten us, and then find an opportunity to flee? Alas, you underestimate our intellect. Nangong Hao, today you are at our mercy. Even an emperor could not save you. Mark my words. Boom! Nangong Hao, now disinterested in their prattle, unleashed his power. The Emperor's seal hovered above the waves, dominating a radius of 10 miles. The beings within this domain felt an instinctive terror, accompanied by an overwhelming reverence. They felt compelled to kneel and pay homage to Nangong Hao. The Son of Heaven surveys. The true dragon descends. Nangong Hao simply stood there, embodying every word of reverence and beauty in existence, with an aura that felt entirely harmonious. Conversely, Yin Wuxing and Liang Jioming found their faces turning an ashen hue. Just moments ago, they had boasted and provoked Nangong Hao, only to discover that he had already attained the realm of the Son of Heaven. As they had stated, Nangong Hao had only just recently broken through to the noble realm 2 days prior. In less than 2 days, he had already ascended to the realm of the Son of Heaven. Yin Wuxing and his cohorts felt like mere jesters, prancing about only to realize their own inferiority. Damn it, their mental state had shattered. Yin Wuxing's eyes turned crimson as he glared at Nangong Hao. Do you think yourself formidable? Nangong Hao, looking down imperiously at Yin Wuxing, replied, do you believe such matters require my consideration? Domineering. The only evaluation of Nangong Hao's statement from the onlookers was this. After all, his assertion that he need not deem himself powerful indicated that his strength was universally acknowledged. Yet, no one could refute this claim. Those who followed Yin Wuxing involuntarily stepped back in fear. Their strongest member was merely an upper-tier noble, and they could not afford to offend a powerful figure of the Son of Heaven. Collectively, they could not withstand a single Son of Heaven. Seeing his painstakingly assembled faction crumble due to Nangong Hao's mere words, Yin Wuxing became increasingly deranged. I was trying to speak to you civilly. Why must you act so arrogantly? Why? Do you enjoy showing off? Then allow me to let you flaunt your bravado to the fullest. I shall see how you claim to be strong, yet cannot withstand my sacred artifact. Yin Wuxing drew a long sword, its cold light gleaming, entwined with laws. Liang Jiuming, witnessing Yin Wuxing wield the sacred artifact, felt a tremor of fear and immediately retreated. This was the sword of the Supreme Emperor of Baiwuguo, named the Jinyu Sword, capable of vanquishing demons and exterminating evil. I am the Supreme Royal of Baiwuguo, destined to become the Emperor. You, a mere pretender, get down from your lofty position. Yin Wuxing frantically urged the Jinyu Sword, striking towards Nangong Hao. Sacred artifacts command the power of order. This is a force that transcends laws. The power of order can reshape the heavens and earth, restart the world, possessing the capacity to destroy and create all. Such power is insurmountable beneath the sage level. Chapter 55, a fine sacred artifact. Now it belongs to me. Nangong Hao gazed at the sword descending with the power of order, unhesitatingly drawing the Dizong Binyuan knife. To counter a sacred artifact, one must utilize another sacred artifact or an even more potent treasure. In simpler terms, it is a battle of magic against magic. Buzz. The heavens trembled as a golden Buddha appeared behind Nangong Hao. You wield the Jinyu Sword? Then I shall wield the break prison slash, Nangong Hao declared, while the Buddha behind him displayed a resolute demeanor. Dizong makes great vows, stabilizing the underworld. The cycle of eternity turns. One slash creates a new heaven. The black Dizong Binyuan knife suddenly became enveloped in the power of laws. This was necessary, for the Binyuan knife had to compress its power in accordance with Nangong Hao's cultivation level, although it inherently commanded much order power at the Son of Heaven level. It could only summon the power of laws. However, Nangong Hao possessed more than just the Sutra of Eternal Reincarnation, the Hanyuan Extreme Intent Technique. This divine skill, bestowed by the heavens, can mobilize endless powers of laws. The power of order, you say? Crushing laws, is it? What if I unleash 100 laws? 1,000? 110,000? Endless laws descended from the heavens, forcefully intertwining into a colossal dragon of laws, exuding a terrifying aura. Boom! The power of the break prison slash collided with the might of the Jinyu Sword. The sacred artifact was formidable, yet was constrained by Yin Wuxing's power, able to summon only a single order force. That force was named destruction. Laws are infinite, yet the power of order is said to be limited to 3,000. The power of order holds no rank and is not defined by strength, but rather by the depth of the wielder's comprehension. Clearly, Yin Wuxing lacked any comprehension, relying solely on the power of the sacred artifact, the Jinyu Sword. The so-called order power, capable of crushing all laws, violently struck against the myriad laws summoned by Nangong Hao. It was akin to a meat grinder, incessantly shredding the dragon of laws. 100, 500, 1,000, 5,000. The dragon of laws continually shattered, obliterating, vanishing. Yin Wuxing wore a frenzied expression. Today, I shall ensure your downfall, pretender. Yet gradually, a despairing realization dawned upon Yin Wuxing. As the order power eroded the power of laws, it too began to suffer attrition. Before he could fully register this, the order power had already met its demise alongside Nangong Hao's dragon of laws. Impossible. This cannot be. The Supreme Emperor had stated that your quasi-imperial artifact could not unleash its full potential, and that I need not fear. But why are you so powerful? I am terrified. Yin Wuxing's heart shattered entirely, and he broke down into tears on the spot. He was a prince of an immortal faction, yet was publicly humiliated. O world, please perish swiftly. I am weary. Nangong Hao scoffed with disdain. Though a treasure is fine, it matters who wields it. In your hands, this sacred artifact cannot unleash even 1/10 of its power. Whom do you intend to slay? Nangong Hao swiftly appeared before Yin Wuxing, his long knife sweeping across. Stop! Cried Liang Jiuming in terror. If the second Prince Yin Wuxing were to perish here, even if he managed to escape this secret realm, he would not live. Nangong Hao, of course, disregarded Liang Jiuming's commands, and the Binyuan knife had already severed Yin Wuxing's throat. I command you to stop. Liang Jiuming frantically produced a black seal. This was a forbidden artifact crafted from the imperial artifact of Bai Wuguo, the Tiandi seal, with immense power capable of slaying gods and exterminating Buddhas. Whatever Dizong, whatever Buddha, whatever son of heaven, perish. Liang Jiuming ferociously prepared to wield the forbidden artifact. Yet at that moment, Nangong Hao pointed his long knife at him and declared calmly, I hereby sentence you to death. With a whoosh, the power of reincarnation laws surged from the void, shaking the sea, entwining around Liang Jiuming. The Buddha that had not vanished behind Nangong Hao, with one hand holding a book and the other wielding a pen, inscribed Liang Jiuming's name. Liang Jiuming suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. Subsequently, the power and vitality within him drained away rapidly, akin to a flood released from a dam. Nangong Hao had already attained the realm of the heavenly sovereign, and his exertion of this power proved to be exceedingly potent. At this moment, the speed of Liang Jiuming's aging and demise was far swifter than that of the former Nangong Quan. He was unable to activate any forbidden artifacts in time. You never learn, Nangong Hao remarked with disdain. Liang Jiuming finally recalled Nangong Hao's supreme divine abilities, but it was too late. He had already turned to ashes and, amidst the surging tides of the ocean floor, vanished forever. As for Yin Wuxing, Nangong Hao had already sliced through his throat moments ago. Yin Wuxing offered no resistance. His Tao heart shattered, and he saw no purpose in continuing to live. The surrounding cultivators watched in trepidation at the exquisite visage of Nangong Hao. They suddenly recalled a popular saying in the Guangyuan Tianyu. In confronting a strong adversary, the mind is the foremost target. They had always been perplexed about how to attack the mind. Now, they comprehended fully. Faced with the unparalleled genius of Nangong Hao, the young emperor, whose Tao heart could withstand the onslaught, their spirits had already succumbed. Many cultivators bore bitter smiles and gradually knelt, paying homage to Nangong Hao. Just moments ago, they had merely collaborated with the second prince, Yin Wuxing. Now, however, they directly acknowledged him as their master. What choice did they have, considering his extraordinary prowess? Nangong Hao indifferently marked these individuals with a slave seal, instructing them to assist him in searching for the legacy caves and the whereabouts of the Shihai clan. The crowd was taken aback, realizing that Nangong Hao's pursuit of the Shihai clansmen would certainly lead him to the core of the secret realm to seize the legacy of the emperor. They dared not speak further and promptly set to work. Yet, little did they know, Nangong Hao's desire for the emperor's legacy was secondary. Primarily, he had yet to check in. Nangong Hao chuckled ruefully, realizing the dire situation. The system indicated that the check-in location was the Sea King's secret realm. Yet upon his arrival, he found it impossible to do so. He discerned that the system was compelling him to enter the core area. Thus, whether for the emperor's legacy or his own check-in, Nangong Hao had to locate the Shihai clansmen and access their core area of imperial inheritance. Shaking his head, Nangong Hao turned his gaze toward two floating treasures, the Saint Artifact Jinyu Sword and the Forbidden Artifact Seal. Both items were immensely powerful, yet each contained the sole imprint of its creator. To wield them, one would need to eradicate these imprints. However, one imprint belonged to a sage, while the other was left by an unknown being of a formidable realm. To eliminate these imprints would likely require a sage, or even a being of a higher caliber. Nevertheless, this was a dilemma for others, not for Nangong Hao. The Dizong Binyuan knife was not merely for slicing vegetables. It was perfectly suited for severing souls. Great Compassion Slash. With the Binyuan knife in hand, a Buddha manifested behind Nangong Hao, suppressing the endless hell and fiercely cleaving the Saint Artifact. The artifact trembled, and the soul imprint within was eradicated. Thus, the Jinyu sword fell into Nangong Hao's grasp. Upon acquiring it and inspecting it, he finally understood how inept Yin Wuxing truly was. The power of the destructive order contained within this sword was so formidable that Yin Wuxing, when wielding it, had failed to cleave down upon his own heavenly sovereign. Nangong Hao, wielding it, would dare to cleave an emperor in two. At the moment the soul imprint within the Saint Artifact was obliterated outside the Sea King's secret realm, The expression of the Supreme Emperor of Baiwuguo changed dramatically. Bastard! Who snatched my Jinyu sword? The surrounding cultivators, waiting for the individuals within the secret realm to emerge, turned pale upon hearing this exclamation. What? The Saint Artifact had been stolen. Chapter 56. Merging Forbidden Artifacts. The true ancient emperor, the furious roar of the Supreme Emperor of Baiwuguo, led the other three great immortal powers to speculate amongst themselves. It was inevitable that anyone bold enough to seize a Saint Artifact for Baiwuguo would likely belong to one of their own factions. The Sea King Shihai, Xingyu Jia, remarked nonchalantly, "It must be my eldest son, my apologies, Brother Yin." Although he offered an apology, the pride in his demeanor was unmistakable. Beside him, the sage of Dongqing City, Namling Mu, scoffed, "The crown prince of the Shihai clan is surely preoccupied with seeking the legacy. How could he have time to pilfer a Saint Artifact? I suspect it was my family's saint son who did this. Thus, I should be the one to apologize." Supreme Emperor Yin Tian's countenance turned icy, his fists clenched tightly. These two wretched individuals displayed no remorse whatsoever. Rather, they seemed to gloat. The sage accompanying the Nangong family feigned confusion as he turned to Yin Tian. "The Saint Artifact has been plundered? Does that mean the soul imprint you left behind has also been expelled? I must inquire. Do the crown prince of the Shihai clan and the saint son of Dongqing City possess the ability to expel a sage's soul imprint?" Upon uttering these words, both the Shihai clan and Dongqing City fell silent. Yin Tian, too, realized the implication, gritting his teeth as he glared at the Nangong family sage. "It was your family's divine son who used the Dizong Binyuan knife to expel my soul imprint." The Nangong family sage smiled amiably and clasped his hands in greeting. "No need for thanks. I damn well thank your grandmother's leg." Yin Tian erupted in fury. "Damn it. The other two immortal factions at least feigned some remorse. You directly said no need for thanks? Do you think I'm desperate enough to thank your divine son for stealing my Saint Artifact?" The Nangong family sage, however, replied earnestly, "Do not curse. I am sincerely telling you that no thanks are necessary. Consider this. If Yin Wuxing can be robbed of a Saint Artifact, then he is unworthy of inheriting the throne of Baiwuguo. My divine son is merely helping you select a worthy heir. If you're interested, you could bring the crown prince of Baiwuguo over for my divine son to give him a lesson, aiding in your training." The words were laced with sarcasm. Yin Tian's face turned green with rage, wishing he could directly eliminate the Nangong family. However, the other immortal factions finally understood a crucial truth. The domineering and tenacious nature of Nangong was entirely inherited from the bloodline of the Nangong family. "Oof. Do not rejoice too soon," Yin Tian sneered. "My nephew, Liang Jioming, entered with a forbidden artifact." Upon hearing this, the surrounding crowd displayed expressions of terror. Indeed, there was a forbidden artifact. Such artifacts were crafted from imperial devices, containing unfathomable power capable of slaying even sages. The sage of the Nangong family grew solemn. The four great immortal factions have a rule prohibiting the entry of forbidden artifacts into the secret realm. You openly defy this. The Sea King Shihai Xingyu Jia was equally furious. If the forbidden artifact were to erupt, it would cause irreversible damage to the secret realm. Do you intend to destroy my Shihai clan's secret realm? Humph. As long as I can eliminate the heavenly punishment divine body, destroying a mere secret realm is insignificant. This time, Yin Tian reveled in his triumph. Yet, his words left Xingyu Jia speechless. For everyone knew that the heavenly punishment divine body would bring calamity. To annihilate Nangong was worth any cost. All right, you are right. To eliminate Nangong is worth any cost. Xingyu Jia, with a grim expression, stepped aside, seemingly opting to refrain from causing trouble. His action left the other three great immortal factions feeling uneasy. The Shihai clan, could they be plotting something within the secret realm? Regardless of your schemes, with the forbidden artifact in hand, my grandson and nephew are surely safe. It is merely a Saint Artifact that has been stolen. Perhaps Nangong has already lost his life in his greed for my artifact. Yin Tian brimmed with confidence. Others also thought his speculation quite plausible. After all, that was a forbidden artifact. Moreover, aside from Baiwuguo, no one else had secretly brought a forbidden artifact, leaving no one capable of resisting. Just then, a furious roar echoed above the Dongwang domain. "Who dares to seize my Baiwuguo's forbidden artifact?" The voice emanated from Baiwuguo, clearly belonging to a power beyond a sage. Enraged over the theft of the forbidden artifact within the Sea King's secret realm, all the cultivators before the Haiwang Mijing were filled with incredulity. After a moment of astonishment, Eam Tion's expression twisted in disbelief. Who could it be? It absolutely cannot be Nangong Hao. It must be someone else intervening. Yet, despite his inquiries, no one knew who was responsible. Naturally, many suspected it was the Shihai clan's mischief. After all, Nangong Hao was merely at the Wangho realm and could not possibly seize a sacred artifact. Perhaps the Shihai clan had secretly tampered with the secret realm. Otherwise, why had they previously known of the forbidden artifacts, yet shown little concern? The members of the Nangong family, however, were unified in their belief that it must have been Nangong Wushuang who acted. After all, that ancestor possessed terrifying power and could easily seize a forbidden artifact. Of course, they dared not belittle their own divine son, for he had even secured the identity of an imperial heir, making extraordinary feats seem quite normal. Speculations abounded, and various theories emerged, yet no one could reach a definitive conclusion. At that moment, Nangong Hao, who was regarded as doomed, gazed at the floating Renhuang seal before him. This seal was a gift from heaven and contained the essence of a true dragon, capable of assisting Nangong Hao in ascending to the throne. At this moment, it was infused with the power of a forbidden artifact. The forbidden artifact of Bai Wuguo was fused with the imperial artifact, the Tian Di seal, which was also a seal. The fusion of the two proceeded remarkably smoothly, harmoniously blending together. The Tian Di seal had once been wielded by a great emperor and represented the seal of a founding monarch. Thus, it contained vast imperial aura, boundless reverence, and endless glory. For anyone else to attempt to merge with a forbidden artifact would be nothing short of delusional. However, with the Renhuang seal in hand, Nangong Hao found the merging process rather effortless. At this moment, the rank of the Renhuang seal elevated to a new level, leaping from the realm of Wangdao treasures directly to that of imperial supremacy, more befitting its name. Simultaneously, Nangong Hao was further exalted, resembling an eternal emperor. In the Dija world, the malevolent spirits under Nangong Hao's dominion were also nurtured by the imperial aura, growing even stronger, especially the little malevolent spirit boy from the 70th layer of the Dija world. Under the influence of the imperial aura, transformed into a youthful state, his power surging dramatically. This young boy had already conquered over 30 cities, his territory vast, yet he had yet to devise a plan for governance. At that moment, as the imperial aura surged, the malevolent spirits of the 30 cities he had conquered sensed the transcendent power. In an instant, all the malevolent spirits felt deeply devoted, their previous resentment vanishing entirely. If this young boy managed the empire well, the vast dominion would swiftly find its footing, bestowing boundless power upon Nangong Hao. The young malevolent spirit casually appointed several high-ranking officials to assist in governance, then turned his gaze toward the gate leading to the 71st layer of the world. He shared Nangong Hao's domineering arrogance, refusing to submit to the 70th layer. To transcend all beings and become the supreme emperor was the young malevolent spirit's dream. Chapter 57. A series of rescues and the Shihai clan's astonishing conspiracy. Nangong Hao stowed away the Renhuang seal and refined the Jinyu sword, imprinting his soul mark within it. Subsequently, he remained in place, occasionally receiving reports from the dispatched slaves. Some returned with the locations of inheritance caves, while others brought back their fortunate acquisitions of legacies. For the inheritance caves that were impenetrable to them, Nangong Hao simply tossed the Jinyu sword, allowing these slaves to wield it and break through the barriers, retrieving the legacies. If they encountered other passers-by along the way, they would bring them back to bolster their exploration team. Let go of me. Let go of me. I must save my sister. Please release me. Wu, I beg you, don't capture me. A pitiful little lowly's voice suddenly echoed from afar. Nangong Hao, who was in the midst of cultivation, opened his eyes and looked into the distance. He saw several of his slaves restraining a little fox demon girl, the very same adorable fox demon who had previously accompanied Sidu Rue. Kneel, commanded a Wangho realm slave, attempting to force the little fox demon to bow before Nangong Hao. That's enough, Nangong Hao said indifferently, halting him. The slave hurriedly ceased his actions, kneeling on the ground and ingratiatingly saying, Master, we were searching the cave when this fox demon suddenly appeared. We thought you might be lonely waiting alone, so why not let her sing a song for your amusement? Indeed, this little fox demon, still in her teenage years, possessed a charming doll-like face, beautiful and cute. Anyone who saw her would be unable to resist a sense of temptation. It was no wonder the slaves wanted to present her to Nangong Hao. However, the little fox demon appeared quite terrified, tearfully exclaiming, Master, I can't sing. Nangong Hao observed that she was clearly at the peak of the Qi realm, yet was so timid, shaking his head. All right, open your eyes and see who I am. The little fox demon looked at Nangong Hao through teary eyes. She saw him surrounded by ethereal light, with Taoist rhythms transforming into spirits that danced around him, emanating an imperial aura that dominated the heavens and earth, making it difficult for anyone to gaze directly at him. I cannot look, master. The little fox demon felt quite wronged. She realized that a mere glance at Nangong Hao ignited profound reverence in her heart. Even the act of looking seemed a transgression. Nangong Hao sighed. I'm the divine son. Did Situ Rue not accompany you? The little fox demon, seemingly innocent, believed Nangong Hao's words without hesitation. Her face lit up with joy. You are the divine son? Wonderful. Please go save Sister Rue. Is she in danger? Take me there. With a swift motion, Nangong Hao summoned the little fox demon to the three-headed whale. The whale trembled in anticipation, ready to charge at a moment's notice. The little fox demon sniffed the air and pointed. To the east. Nangong Hao was astonished. It seemed the little fox demon possessed tracking abilities. The three-headed whale surged forth like a meteor, racing eastward. The three of them set off together. The slaves, left bewildered, exchanged glances, unsure of what to do. It seemed they had been abandoned by Nangong Hao, yet they lacked the courage to flee. Reluctantly, they left two behind to await the return of the others, while the rest hurriedly followed Nangong Hao. Though they could not match the speed of the three-headed whale, they desperately trailed behind, fearing punishment for falling behind. Nangong Hao ignored the slaves, continuing eastward. Soon, he spotted several figures fleeing ahead. At the forefront was clearly Situ Rue, followed by several prodigies from first-rate forces. Courting death, Nangong Hao uttered in a low voice, unleashing the Thunder Law, which crackled and transformed into several thunder dragons that roared forth. Boom! 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 The prodigies from the first-rate forces let out a collective cry of despair, vanishing entirely from this world. Situ Rue, in a state of disarray, heard the commotion behind her and hesitated to glance back. Upon seeing Nangong Hao and the little fox demon, her excitement surged. Young master, Nangong Hao expressed his dissatisfaction. How could you be pursued by such weaklings? Situ Rue felt a bit embarrassed. I just expended a great deal of energy to break through a sage's legacy. Who would have thought they would take advantage of the situation? Come here. Do you know the whereabouts of the others? Nangong Hao decided to gather everyone first. Situ Rue hesitated. I think I saw Qin Yin'er being pursued, but they were too fast for me to catch up. However, the little fox demon is skilled at tracking and should be able to find her. Nangong Hao turned to the little fox demon. Which direction? The little fox demon quickly twitched her adorable little nose and, after a moment's hesitation, said, It might be to the north, but it's too far away from me to be certain. The three-headed whale immediately propelled them northward. Meanwhile, the remaining slaves barely caught up, exhausted and unable to recover their strength. Seeing Nangong Hao continue forward, they could only follow behind with mournful expressions. Sitiori, initially displaying a visage of panic, now follows Nangong Hao with an air of confidence, proclaiming, with the young master here, the inheritance shall undoubtedly be ours. Nangong Hao, his expression serene, responds, By the way, your reputation as the Tian Mo Xiannu is quite illustrious. Situ Rue, slightly embarrassed, replies, I must thank the young master for the bestowed treasures. I certainly did not bring shame upon you. Well, this old fellow seems relatively honest, Nangong Hao muses, casting a sidelong glance at the ring on Situ Rue's hand. The old man within the ring feels a wave of bitterness. Situ Rue nods affirmatively. Quite well. He has indeed imparted his knowledge generously. That's good, Nangong Hao remarks, visibly satisfied. Meanwhile, the little fox demon interjects. It seems the direction has shifted. We are heading west. Without the need for further instruction from Nangong Hao, the three-headed whale promptly alters its course. After advancing for a while, it changes direction once more. Clearly, Qin Yin'er is not fleeing in a straight line. However, there are no obstacles ahead. She must be ensnared within an enemy encirclement, forced to continually evade. This encirclement spans at least hundreds of miles, indicative of a deliberate ambush. Only the Shihai clan possesses the capability to muster such forces for a siege. Nangong Hao's gaze turns frigid, if it truly is them. The Shihai clan shall pay a grievous price this time. The three-headed whale relentlessly pursues, altering its course repeatedly. The little fox demon's tone grows increasingly certain, indicating that they're drawing near to Qin Yin'er. In an underwater valley, Qin Yin'er stands amidst chaos, her crimson battle armor in tatters, hair disheveled, and her delicate face marred by blood. her beautiful eyes coldly surveying her surroundings. The audacity of the Shihai clan is truly remarkable. They dare to attempt the extermination of all other factions entering the secret realm, unafraid of incurring disgrace in the eastern wilderness. Surrounding her are over 20 individuals, both human and members of the Shihai clan, encircling her. A seahorse-like figure from the Shihai clan steps forward, a sinister smile etched on his face. Qin Yan, why feign strength? Do not think I am unaware. You are merely relying on secret arts to hold on. He continues in due time. Even if we do not intervene, you shall gradually lose all combat prowess, ultimately at our mercy. Qin Yan's expression shifts. She had not anticipated being seen through. Nevertheless, she grits her teeth and retorts, I warn you, I am the woman of the divine son of the Nangong family. Whoever dares to harm me shall be obliterated by him. The seahorse scoffs, the divine son of the Nangong family? He is as good as dead. Soon, you will be playing the fool before us all. Let us see if he will still want you, this tarnished shoe. Qin Yan's face flushes with indignation. Shameless. You worthless scum are not worthy to carry the divine son's shoes. Yet you presume to touch me? The seahorse's expression darkens. You dare to defy? Since you are so loyal to your divine son, I shall enjoy watching you when we take turns with you. Do you think I will allow you to succeed? Qin Yan's face contorts with a bitter smile. In a sudden act of defiance, she raises her sword to her throat, intent on taking her own life. In this final moment, despair and a hint of regret fill her eyes, realizing she will never again behold the divine son's unparalleled visage. Yet even in death, she cannot allow them to defile her body and bring shame upon him. Chapter 58. Hunting me? Then I shall hunt you back. Cursed beings. A figure suddenly rushes in, delivering a powerful kick. With a piercing scream, Qin Yan is sent flying, crashing into a distant underwater mountain. The seahorse from the Shihai clan glares at her. Divine son. Divine son, you are still thinking of that damn divine son, aren't you? This kick will render you immobile. Let us see how you intend to commit suicide now. Someone, capture the scene of her humiliation with the jade, recording and spread it throughout the eastern wilderness. I am eager to see if that divine son dares to show his face when his reputation is in tatters. Hearing this, Qin Yan's face pales, but she lacks the strength even to raise her sword, gazing helplessly at the ocean above, murmuring, Brother Hao, I'm sorry for bringing you shame, but I truly wish to see you once more, even if just for a moment. Want to see me? What difficulty is there in that? A gentle voice, suppressed with fury, suddenly emerges. Upon hearing the familiar tone, a glimmer of light appears in Qin Yan's beautiful eyes. It feels as though she has heard Brother Hao's voice. Is this merely a beautiful dream before death? In the next instant, she is enveloped in a warm embrace. She looks up to see, indeed, the face of Nangong Hao. Brother Hao, you are truly handsome from every angle, she says, tears of happiness welling in her eyes before she falls into unconsciousness. Nangong Hao's face turns cold as he gazes at the seahorse in the distance, stating with unyielding calmness, you shall pay the price. His tone and demeanor reflect an unsettling tranquility, akin to the oppressive calm before a storm. The weight of dread looms over everyone present, instilling terror and discomfort. Though the seahorse is powerful, he now feels an inexplicable weakness in his legs. Gritting his teeth, he glares at Nangong Hao. You aren't afraid of the Shihai clan? Everything we do is under their command. Then let the Shihai clan also pay the price. Nangong Hao rises slowly, his tone indifferent yet resolute. In this moment, everyone unconditionally believes that this mere existence of royal lineage seems capable of exacting a grievous toll upon the immortal forces of the Shihai clan. C2 Rue approaches, wanting to take Qin Yan into her arms, but Nangong Hao shakes his head, continuing to hold her as he strides toward the gathered Shihai clan. With each step he takes, their faces grow increasingly pale. For reasons unknown, even without exerting any power, they are filled with dread and oppression. At last, a member of the Shihai clan can no longer withstand it, exclaiming, I cannot bear this any longer. Let us flee together. With that, he turns and bolts. Just as the three-headed whale prepares to chase down the fleeing figure, the Ren Huang In appears in midair, crashing down violently. A royal artifact? The fleeing noble cries out in terror. Do you think I lack one? Star-shattering sword. A sharp, long sword bursts forth from within his body. A royal artifact he has refined with the Earth's shadow energy from the Disha realm and various treasures from the seabed, rendering it extraordinarily robust, capable of shattering the void and cleaving the stars. To all present, Even if this treasure cannot break the Ren Huangyin, it should at least provide some resistance, right? No, the imagined scene of resistance does not materialize. Instead, the Ren Huangyin descends with unyielding force, effortlessly obliterating the star-shattering sword. Pooh! The fleeing noble's life-bound treasure destroyed. He spews forth a mouthful of blood, collapsing heavily to the ground. In the next moment, the Ren Huangyin emanates an aura of supreme power. Though Nan Gonghao's form remains unchanged, he appears to the onlookers as if he has grown countless feet taller, resembling a colossal being towering over the heavens and earth. It seems you have ascended to the emperor level, the seahorse exclaims in terror. The Nan Gong family is cheating. As Nan Gonghao's power washes over the crowd, he scans each individual, and with every gaze, they are struck by the force of the Ren Huangyin, their bodies shattering, souls extinguished, meeting their demise. After 5 nobles have perished in succession, all present are gripped by fear. A devil. He is a demon king risen from the abyss. He is the Ren Huang, the sole emperor of the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Save me. I do not wish to die. I am willing to submit to you. Please spare my life. A multitude of terrified voices fills the air, some screaming in panic, others attempting to escape in all directions. Alas, none can escape the grasp of the Ren Huangyin. If it had been before, Nan Gonghao could have easily annihilated them. But it was not so simple. However, who could resist the forbidden weapon gifted to him by the Beiwu kingdom? With each step and glance, one fell lifeless, until all were vanquished. Slowly, Nan Gonghao approached the terrified Hai Ma and coldly inquired, "What is the conspiracy of the Shihai clan?" "I don't know," Hai Ma stammered, his teeth chattering in fear. Nan Gonghao did not express anger, but repeated his question, "What is the conspiracy of the Shihai clan?" "I don't know. I truly don't. Please don't ask me." Hai Ma pleaded, tears streaming down his face. Overwhelmed by Nan Gonghao's imposing presence, Hai Ma's spirit shattered, and he even wet himself in terror. Observing the trembling figure before him, Nan Gonghao realized that he might genuinely be ignorant of the matter. "What is your task?" Nan Gonghao rephrased his inquiry. "To hunt down all the other outstanding figures I encounter," Hai Ma replied without hesitation, despite his collapse. "Very well. I shall assign you another task. Hunt down every member of the Shihai clan you see." Nan Gonghao spoke indifferently. Upon hearing he had a mission, Hai Ma was overjoyed, realizing he would not face death. Yet, upon hearing the nature of the task, despair washed over him. For executing such a command would likely lead to a more gruesome demise. Even though his spirit had shattered and he could no longer cultivate, he still wished to live. Before he could hesitate, Nan Gonghao inscribed a mark upon his soul, commanding, "Go forth, do not disappoint me." With a face full of despair, Hai Ma wished to resist. Yet Nan Gonghao's power compelled him to submit. "Yes, master," he bitterly acquiesced, leaving in fear. Once Hai Ma departed, the fox demon, Xiao Hu, quietly remarked to Situ Rue, "Why didn't he, the divine son, kill that Hai Ma? What if he betrays us?" Situ Rue, however, gazed at Nan Gonghao with admiration, asserting, "That won't happen. No one can defy the divine son's commands. Hai Ma has been thoroughly conquered by the young master. Even in death, he would not dare betray us." The little fox demon appeared somewhat bewildered. It seems the divine son is indeed formidable, but if it were our Fox clan supreme leader, they would have certainly killed him. After speaking, the little fox demon shook her head, evidently believing Nan Gonghao fell short compared to their clan's supreme leader. Nan Gonghao paid no mind to the 2 women's discussion. He placed Qin Yin'er on the ground and retrieved a precious medicine to treat her. In a short while, Qin Yin'er's physical injuries healed, and she gradually regained consciousness. When she opened her eyes, the first sight was Nan Gonghao, prompting her to offer a weak yet beautiful smile. "Brother Hao, it's so wonderful to see you again." Chapter 59. The Crown Prince leads the way. Gathering many talented individuals gazing at Qin Yin'er's fragile form, Nan Gonghao sighed. "I finally understand what it means for a hero to falter at the beauty's gate." Qin Yin'er's eyes brightened with surprise. "Could it be that Brother Hao truly likes me? That's wonderful." Although Nan Gonghao had been close to Qin Yin'er before, she understood that it was merely a tactic to provoke other talented figures. In truth, Nan Gonghao's affections lay with Qin Shuyao. Feeling envious, Qin Yin'er alone for Nan Gonghao's affection. However, despite her previous attempts to win his favor, she had failed to capture his attention. Now, after being pursued, Nan Gonghao had genuinely begun to care for her. In that case, I must thank the Shihai clan for pursuing me. If it leads to Brother Hao liking me, I would endure their chase countless times without complaint. Nan Gonghao, feeling helpless, replied, "Do not speak nonsense. I would give anything to be with brother Hao." Qin Yinner reverted to her previous infatuated demeanor. Despite being a peerless and proud beauty, she could not resist displaying her enamored side to Nan Gonghao. He shook his head with a wry smile and shifted the topic. "Where is your sister?" "I don't know. We were separated by the waves. And I am also searching for her," Qin Yinner said, her expression growing serious as she recalled her sister. After the recent events, she realized the Shihai clan likely intended to scatter everyone and systematically eliminate them one by one. Now, Qin Shuyao might also be in peril. "Little fox demon. Can you locate her?" Nan Gonghao inquired, turning back. The little fox demon wrinkled her nose in hesitation. "It's too far, and the seawater will disperse the scent." Nan Gonghao frowned. "Then whose scent can you detect?" The little fox demon sniffed carefully, and after a while, she displayed a look of dread. "It's that guy. Could it be the son-in-law of the Zhan Shen Palace?" Situ Rue also expressed apprehension. Yet, Nan Gonghao's eyes brightened. "Come to think of it, that son-in-law, like Su Chun, is also a chosen one. Perhaps we can leverage this to our advantage." As for Qin Shuyao and the others, they possess the means to protect themselves, so there is no need for excessive concern. "Follow that son-in-law," Nan Gonghao promptly commanded. "But that guy seems skilled in tracking. I fear he might be discovered." The little fox demon protested, pouting. Situ Rue quickly added, "Yes, I've used the spatial jade slip several times to evade him, yet he always caught up." Nan Gonghao smiled lightly. "I possess the Wan Hua Pearl, which can conceal our forms. Let us proceed." Seeing Nan Gonghao's determination, Situ Rue immediately instructed the little fox demon. "Where's that person? Let us there." The little fox demon, already feeling that Nan Gonghao was inferior to her supreme leader, now harbored even greater disdain for him. This divine son was far too arrogant. Thus, her attitude towards Nan Gonghao diminished, and she pouted to the east. Situ Rue, displeased with the little fox demon's demeanor, shot her a glare. "Do you believe he would leave you here?" Startled, the little fox demon felt aggrieved. Yet, Nan Gonghao paid no attention, mounting the three-headed whale and guiding everyone eastward. Soon, the little fox demon announced, "That guy is nearby." Nan Gonghao surveyed the surroundings, observing hills and valleys, with the azure waves of the sea rippling, but he could not spot the son-in-law's figure. It seemed the other party was also adept at concealment. But who was he evading? Under the cover of the Wan Hua Pearl, the son-in-law would certainly be oblivious to their presence, indicating he was not on guard against them. Was there something amiss in this area? Before long, commotion arose from a distant canyon. Accompanied by a flurry of bubbles, a group emerged. It was the Shihai clan. Leading them was none other than the crown prince of the Shihai clan. This truly was an effortless discovery. Nan Gonghao's expression brightened. The crown prince surveyed the surroundings and spoke in a solemn tone. "The outside must be in utter chaos. No one will pay attention here. We must head to the core area. Go quickly." Nan Gonghao was genuinely eager to discover what rewards the system would bestow this time. Could it be the unlocking of the next heavenly lock? Or perhaps an exquisite cultivation technique? Just then, a guard beside the crown prince ingratiated himself. "Your Highness, as the bearer of the killing immortal demon body, if you were to obtain our great emperor's legacy, you would undoubtedly ascend to the path of an emperor, saving the Shihai clan from peril." The crown prince, with an air of pride, replied with derision. "That Nangong family S divine son is merely a trifling Tian Qian divine body, flaunting his prowess everywhere. Little does he know, this prince possesses the unparalleled killing immortal demon body, which once perfected, can shake the heavens and suppress the immortals and demons." Nan Gonghao had indeed heard of this physique. Like his Tian Qian divine body, it was also a cursed lineage, yet it was a body coveted by all. The killing immortal demon body innately contained the powers of yin and yang, allowing the wielder to freely employ techniques of both attributes. Once merged, it becomes an immensely powerful divine ability, capable of creating and destroying worlds. The first prince, wearing a proud expression, swiftly made his way to a nearby underwater volcano. He commanded his followers to remain outside while he ventured into the depths of the volcano. It appeared that this was the entrance to the core area. Nan Gonghao abandoned the three-headed whale and stealthily followed him with a few companions. At the same time, as they moved, Nan Gonghao sensed a ripple pass by him. It seemed to be the son-in-law of the War God Palace. To Nan Gonghao's astonishment, the figure paused momentarily as it passed him, seemingly having noticed his presence. This individual truly lived up to the reputation of an ancient demon returned from the bygone era, able to detect the power of the Wanhua Pearl. However, Both parties shared an unspoken understanding, refraining from hostility as they descended into the underwater volcano. The first prince led the way downward, opening several blocking formations along the path. These formations were set by beings of a realm surpassing that of saints. If Nangonghao and his companions had attempted to enter on their own, they would have been utterly unable to do so. Soon, they reached the bottom of the volcano, where a network of passages awaited them. Finally, they had arrived. The first prince was greatly excited, hoping to witness the legacy of the great emperor that had once been a place of cultivation. The legacy of the great emperor was indeed hidden here, and it was not easy to find. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the side. It was the holy son of Dongqing City, Chu Xiaoyuan. "Oh, Brother Chu, you have come as well." An ancient beast genius appeared, wearing a mocking smile. It seemed that everyone had gathered. Another top-tier genius had appeared, one of the heavenly sun realm, quite formidable. Following this, several other powerful figures manifested. Clearly, these individuals regarded the first prince as a mere guide in their treasure hunt, much like a white mouse. Upon seeing them, the first prince was filled with rage. "You all shall perish. You will die here." In a fit of fury, the first prince turned to flee. He possessed strength and confidence, but understood he was no match for so many geniuses and could only escape by leveraging his familiarity with the terrain. Those geniuses immediately pursued him, while some ventured into other passages. Why linger with the first prince when they had already located the core of the great emperor's legacy? Once everyone had departed, Nangonghao noticed that the son-in-law of the war god palace had not appeared. It seemed that this individual was waiting for him to reveal himself. However, Nangonghao was not in a rush. He intended to sign in first. Chapter 60, The Attacked First Prince, the Mad Ape Staff Technique. System sign in. Nangonghao directly selected the sign-in option. Being sign-in successful. Congratulations. You have received the reward. Order of Artifacts. The long-awaited voice of the system finally echoed in Nangonghao's mind. He had almost forgotten about his golden finger. Yet, this system turned out to be quite beneficial, rewarding him with a force of order. This force of order transcended the realm of laws. However, the Order of Artifacts seemed to be for artifact forging. Countless pieces of knowledge suddenly flooded Nangonghao's mind, all imparted by the Order of Artifacts. Forging treasures, repairing treasures, plundering treasures. Although Nangonghao had little interest in forging, the prospect of these three abilities was indeed delightful. Forging and plundering could be set aside for the moment. The primary focus was on the ability to repair treasures. Not only could he mend damaged artifacts, but he could also activate the latent powers within them. In essence, Nangonghao could awaken the powers of the Dizong Binyuan blade, allowing it to unleash its true strength at the level of an emperor-grade artifact. Of course, the downside was that the consumption and damage to Nangonghao would be substantial. Yet, he felt satisfied with this ability. With a smile on his face, Nangonghao handed the Wanhua Pearl to Qin Yenner, saying, "Go track this son-in-law for me. I shall take my leave." After speaking, Nangonghao stepped out of the range covered by the Wanhua Pearl. The moment he appeared, a figure emerged in the distance. It was indeed the son-in-law. What a coincidence. I did not expect that not only could I obtain the legacy of the great emperor, but I could also acquire your body. Nangonghao frowned. Was this individual intending to engage him in battle? Naturally, Nangonghao was confident he could defeat him. However, Wu Ti that waste an opportunity to use him as a ready-made treasure-hunting white mouse? Are you not afraid that our battle will attract the attention of other geniuses? Nangonghao remarked indifferently. What are you afraid? The son-in-law mocked. This so-called son of heaven is nothing special. The little fox demon hiding within the Wanhua Pearl expressed her dissatisfaction, saying, "Sister Xiaorui, my supreme master fears no battle. That is because your supreme master lacks intellect. It is evident that young master has other plans." Situ Rue stated confidently. "Indeed, my brother Hao is not one to shy away from conflict," Qin Yenner added. The little fox demon did not retort the two, but clearly held a degree of disdain. She still admired her own supreme master even more. That was the true embodiment of unparalleled youth and genius. Nangonghao had heard the old demoness taunts and the little fox demoness complaints. However, if he truly lacked any cunning and was provoked into action by a couple of remarks from these two, he would not have survived to this day. Moreover, the strength of this son of heaven never required validation from such minor characters. Thus, Nangonghao merely observed the old demon silently. Do you wish to fight? Then let us fight. If you choose not to, I shall treat you as a treasure-hunting white mouse. Ultimately, the old demon refrained from making a move. Casting a disdainful glance at Nangonghao before departing. He did not wish to attract the attention of other geniuses. The son-in-law, having been possessed by the old demon, held within his memories a secret regarding the Sea King's secret realm. Now that the old demon had entered the core of the secret realm, he sought that very secret. Afterward, he could seize the Son of Heaven at his leisure. Nangonghao immediately gestured for Qin Yin'er and the others to follow the old demon while he pursued the direction in which the first prince had fled. By controlling the first prince of the West Sea clan, Nangonghao could compel him to lead him to the great emperor's legacy, to search for the whereabouts of Qin Xiao and the others, and to seek out a treasure capable of extending life. Nangonghao had not forgotten the injury the brocade-robed ancestor had suffered when the Dizong Binyuan blade emerged. The passages at the bottom of the volcano were vast and interconnected, yet devoid of traps or formations. It seemed indeed to be a former place of cultivation, rather than a tomb. Otherwise, it would not lack mechanisms. However, a question arose. Why was the great emperor's legacy typically found in tombs, yet here was a site of cultivation? It was worth noting that the exterior was filled with various legacy caves. An ordinary secret realm would not present itself in such a manner. There was a conspiracy at play. Suddenly, Nangonghao recalled that the brocade-robed ancestor of his family had once used a secret to compel the West Sea clan to open the secret realm. What was that secret? And was it related to this secret realm? While pondering this, he suddenly heard the sounds of battle ahead. He quickly rushed over and discovered that they had arrived at a simple yet profoundly resonant cave for cultivation. Whether for cultivation or combat within, one would experience a significant enhancement. At that moment, the first prince was engaged in a frenzied battle, his left hand enveloped in black, ominous energy, each punch as heavy as a mountain, while his right hand radiated dazzling white light, with each strike akin to the sun plummeting. Threads of law power coiled around the first prince, forming a suit of battle armor that accentuated his resemblance to a war god. The reputation of the killing immortal demon body was indeed well-deserved. Before him stood three geniuses. One was the ancient beast genius from earlier, now revealing its true form as a demonic ape. This demonic ape wielded an iron rod, displaying incredible strength, and wherever the rod swept, sand and stones flew, toppling mountains. Another was a human genius, seemingly from a top-tier force, engulfed in flames and resembling a solar deity. The last was a hidden assassin-like figure, appearing sporadically to deliver deadly strikes, leaving the first prince struggling to respond. Seeing the three of them join forces to besiege the first prince, Nangonghao had no intention of intervening. If others could assist him in capturing the first prince, why should he take action himself? Unexpectedly, the demon ape, upon noticing Nangonghao, pointed its staff at him and bellowed, "Get lost." Nangonghao was taken aback. "I'm standing here. What business is it of yours?" To his astonishment, the demon ape swung its staff directly at him. Furious, Nangonghao thought to himself, "Indeed, a monkey is just a monkey. Its evolution is incomplete." Unable to discern who its enemy is, as the thick, sturdy staff descended, Nangonghao formed a seal with his right hand and wielded the Thunder Giant hammer in his left. True Dragon's 9 Seals. Sky Tear Seal. A golden dragon claw materialized behind Nangonghao, fiercely grasping the staff. With a crack, the dragon claw shattered under the immense force, yet managed to hold its ground. Without hesitation, Nangonghao swung his hammer down. With a crackle, the power of thunder mingled with the dark energy of the earth, striking the top of the demon ape's head. The impact sounded as if he had struck an unyielding diamond. Nangonghao's hand was jolted, and he realized he had failed to inflict any harm. Weak, so weak, it felt like mere scratching. The demon ape shook its head, mocking Nangonghao. Surprised, Nangonghao had not anticipated the demon ape clan's formidable defense. This hammer, which had always triumphed in a single strike, had failed him this time. "Boy, if you have no other skills, your monkey elder will get serious." The demon ape swung its staff, infusing it with the power of rules, forming chains that wrapped around it, further condensed with dark energy. Mad ape staff technique. Whoosh! The demon ape staff came crashing down on Nangonghao. The dragon claw that had previously been shattered now crumbled completely as the staff targeted his head. True Dragon's 9 Seals. 5 Mountain Seal. Nangonghao utilized this attack technique for defense. Although the staff descended with tremendous force, it did not shatter the 5 mountains. Yet, in the next moment, the demon ape's staff struck again, following the first blow without delay, as if two beings were simultaneously wielding the staffs rather than a single entity. Moreover, the second strike bore twice the force of the first. Then, The third strike came down, even stronger than the second. The fourth and fifth strikes followed suit, each blow more potent than the last. Nangong Hao finally grasped the formidable power of this mad ape staff technique. If this continued, it might shatter the very secret realm itself. Chapter 61. A mere alien dares to be arrogant? Nangong Hao, with the five-mountain seal above his head, resisted the mad ape staff technique. The demon ape, witnessing his defiance, laughed maniacally. Ha ha ha! What nonsense, divine child! What absurd heavenly punishment, divine body! Watch as your monkey elder crushes you with a single blow. I strike. I strike. I strike, strike, strike. Come on, make a move if you dare. You weak humans. Cowardly fools. In that moment, the demon ape resembled its own staff technique, appearing like a mad beast, glaring fiercely. Its hair wildly dancing as it swung the staff and shouted in chaos. In the distance, the Grand Prince and others, engaged in fierce battles, could not help but keep an eye on this confrontation. They had always heard of Nangong Hao's strength. After all, he was the offspring of two legendary prodigies, having once summoned the awe-inspiring 9 thunderclaps. With 4 extraordinary phenomena by his side and wielding an imperial weapon, he was an heir to the throne, clad in numerous glorious accolades. He should have been a superpower. Yet now, witnessing Nangong Hao's helplessness against the mad ape staff technique, they felt a surge of anger. For it was an alien, a mere beast, who suppressed Nangong Hao. What a waste. If I faced this mad ape staff technique alone, I would surely withstand it with only minor injuries. The Grand Prince barked amidst the battle. The celestial being facing him also scoffed. What utter nonsense! A divine child being suppressed by an alien. Disgraceful for our human race. Once I slay you, Grand Prince, I shall eradicate him. In the shadows, an assassin lurked, intent on annihilating Nangong Hao, who at that moment had seemingly become a disgrace to humanity. Yet, Nangong Hao paid no heed to the derision and mockery directed at him. His reluctance to retaliate against the demon ape was neither out of cowardice nor lack of skill. Rather, it was because he possessed too many skills. At that moment, he found himself uncertain of which to employ. It seems I recently acquired a treasure of order that can plunder others' artifacts. Let me give it a try. A glimmer ignited in Nangong Hao's eyes as he gazed at the iron staff in the demon ape's grip. That object appeared quite impressive. Bring it to me, Nangong Hao commanded, directly reaching out to seize the iron staff. Ha ha ha, foolish human. The demon ape screeched mockingly. You dare to grasp your monkey elder's staff? If you desire it, I shall give it to you. Mad ape staff technique. 1,000 strike. Heaven and earth grinding mill. Smash it for me. Whoosh. The colossal iron staff, akin to a pillar supporting the heavens, thundered down, causing the very fabric of the world to tremble. The realm felt as if it were a gigantic millstone slowly closing in, intent on crushing Nangong Hao. The 5-mountain seal, in an instant, was obliterated. Idiot! Fool! Both the Grand Prince and another celestial being shouted in unison. For even they, when faced with the cumulative force of 1,000 strikes from the mad ape staff technique, would have no choice but to flee for their lives. Nangong Hao had just deployed the true dragon's 9 seals and had been rendered ineffective. How could he dare to intercept it barehanded? This was clearly a death wish. They could almost foresee Nangong Hao being shattered by a single blow. Yet, with unwavering resolve, Nangong Hao, enveloped in the power of order, met the iron staff head-on. Bang! A thunderous explosion reverberated through the depths of the sea, triggering a surge of spiritual energy, causing waves to rise dramatically, shaking the very souls of all present. Yet, it did not disturb Nangong Hao. The power of order forcibly contained the tumultuous sea. The towering waves were restrained, and the iron staff was also brought under control. Bring it to me. Nangong Hao tugged forcefully. Whoosh! The demon ape's iron staff was yanked from its grasp, and the grinding mill of heaven and earth vanished, as if nothing had transpired. However, the iron staff had indeed found its way into Nangong Hao's hands. The demon ape, in a frenzied state, swung its staff, only to suddenly feel a void in its grip. Stupefied, the demon ape exclaimed, "What the heck? Where's my staff? That thick, sturdy, and long iron staff was just here. How can it be gone?" Dazed, the demon ape looked ahead, only to find Nangong Hao firmly holding its iron staff, a look of dissatisfaction on his face. Turns out it was merely a royal artifact. How lackluster. I expected at least an imperial weapon. Nangong Hao manipulated the power of order, transforming it into a 3-legged cauldron. Subsequently, he tossed the iron staff into the cauldron for refinement. Not long after, the staff melted into a pool of essence. Nangong Hao summoned his human sovereign seal and integrated the essence within. Buzz. The human sovereign seal grew heavier, seemingly possessing the power to suppress the heavens. You enjoy smashing others, do you? Then today, let me show you what that feels like. Human sovereign seal, suppress this monkey for me. Nang hao sao that fai soli. The human sovereign seal descended with tremendous force upon the demon ape. In a state of panic, the demon ape cried out, "Do you think I lack the means to resist? I can withstand mountains, let alone your pathetic human sovereign seal." The Grand Prince, astonished by Nangong Hao's successful acquisition of the Iron Staff, frowned upon witnessing the demon ape's form swell. The demon ape clan possesses a divine talent known as Endurance of 1,000 Mountains. Indeed, it is said that this ability is tremendously powerful. I fear the human sovereign seal may not suffice. Another human celestial being remarked solemnly. Boom! The human sovereign seal struck down fiercely upon the demon ape. Not only was it immensely heavy, but the key was its supreme and unyielding power, capable of targeting the alien races. Across the vast world, there is no land that is not the king's territory. On the shores of the earth, there are no subjects but the king. You alien beings dare to be arrogant? Boom! The imposing figure of the demon ape, towering over 3 zhang, was capable of lifting mountains, yet when confronted with the Runhuang seal, it was utterly powerless to resist. Like mountains crumbling and earth shattering, its body was brutally crushed. Impossible. How could this happen? Unbelievable. The other 3 talented individuals present in the cave stared wide-eyed, collectively roaring in disbelief. How could they accept that the demon ape, which they believed required their combined strength to subdue, was easily annihilated by Nan Gonghao alone, unscathed? As the demon ape let out a mournful cry, its corporeal form perished, and its soul attempted to flee, only to be captured by Nan Gonghao's outstretched hand. With the order of artifacts at his command, he could transform the soul of the demon ape into a spirit of the weapon. Possessing a spirit weapon would significantly amplify its power. However, this demon ape was unworthy of entering the Renhuang seal. Having effortlessly subdued the demon ape, Nan Gonghao immediately turned his gaze towards the assassin. "I detest sneaky individuals like you. Come out." The Renhuang seal radiated golden light, infused with the essence of a true dragon. Under such an overwhelmingly rigid brilliance, the assassin was compelled to reveal himself. Subsequently, Nan Gonghao transformed into a bolt of thunder, crackling into existence above the assassin's head. The thunder refinement technique not only tempered the body, but also enhanced his agility. Nan Gonghao had refrained from using it previously, as no one warranted its application. Now he finally unleashed this rapid movement technique, inducing despair even in the assassin, who was renowned for his agility. Nan Gonghao hovered above the assassin, lightning cascading down like a waterfall. The assassin let out a piercing scream, then, in a moment of desperation, detonated his life-bound royal artifact in a bid to escape. Nan Gonghao scoffed. What worthless artifact could possibly harm me? The Xianhuang energy enveloped Nan Gonghao, simultaneously suppressing the assassin. With both phenomena manifesting, even the assassin, who had already attained the celestial sovereign realm, was instantly vanquished, and his soul was inevitably extracted. The Grand Prince and the remaining elite individual were utterly terrified, their faces turning pale, their resolve trembling. This was terrifying, since just moments ago, they had been relentlessly humiliated. Now, Nan Gonghao was poised to truly begin his onslaught against them. Who could tell them what to do? They were in urgent need of guidance. Chapter 62. A world of great strife? No, this is my era. Nan Gonghao coldly dispatched 2 formidable talents in succession. He then turned his attention to the remaining Grand Prince and the elite individual. "Will you confront me together?" Nan Gonghao inquired nonchalantly. "Or will you surrender collectively?" His expression and tone exuded calmness, devoid of any hint of threat. It was precisely this demeanor that served to humiliate and mock them, for he scorned their abilities, confident in his capacity to subdue both. The Grand Prince and the other elite exchanged glances. They had long ceased their previous skirmish and had decided to join forces against Nan Gonghao. There was no choice. This adversary was simply too terrifying. As Nan Gonghao observed the 2 flanking him, he chuckled lightly. "It seems you have made your decision? Then let us die together." Without further ado, the 2 talents unleashed their utmost strength. They too were celestial sovereigns, and achieving the celestial sovereign realm was possible upon reaching the 70th tier of the Dezhao world. However, based on the size of the territories established within the 70th tier, even among those of the same realm, the power of celestial sovereigns could vary greatly. The larger the territory controlled within the Dija world, the greater the strength. As illustrious talents, both the Grand Prince and his companion possessed a kingdom within the Dija world. At this moment, they summoned their miniature worlds, and the earthy Een energy surged forth, forming majestic mountains, incredibly lifelike. Especially as they combined their worlds. A vast expanse of mountains and rivers emerged. Simultaneously, over 1,000 celestial dragons danced in the sky. The power of their worlds was truly immense. This realization swelled the confidence of the Grand Prince and his ally. They believed that Nangonghao's strength was limited to this level. After all, not having reached the monarch realm, he could only summon celestial dragons. Yet the power of a single true dragon equated to that of 1,000 celestial dragons. With over 1,000 at their disposal, even if Nangonghao could wield the true Dragonine seals, he would not be able to suppress them. The demise of those two foolish individuals was merely due to their being defeated one by one. Furthermore, as heirs to their respective powers, both the Grand Prince and his companion possessed their own royal artifacts and unparalleled divine abilities to safeguard their lives. The Sea King's Halberd. The Grand Prince summoned his royal artifact, enveloped in the power of order, invoking a calamity of water. This calamity ranked highly among the powers of order and could bring about various disasters, capable of annihilating worlds. The other elite individual also summoned his royal artifact, the Skyrending Spear, which also wielded the power of order to tear apart, ranking quite well in strength. In the realm of kings, one could only manipulate royal artifacts. Those with exceptional talents might attempt to wield imperial artifacts, yet they may not be able to fully unleash their strength. The earlier two fools from Bawuguo were precisely such examples. They could not even bear the royal artifacts, yet attempted to manipulate sacred and forbidden artifacts, resulting not only in their own weakening, but in their premature demise as well. However, the Grand Prince of the Western Sea and his ally were quite adept. The power of their royal artifacts was pushed to its limit. If it were any other celestial sovereign, even among the illustrious talents of immortal powers, they would likely meet a bitter end. Yet Nangonghao was unafraid. He gazed at the two with a smile. I am often educated about realms. Today I shall enlighten you once more. The celestial sovereign realm is divided into 3 levels. Do you understand? Establishing a territory in the 70th tier of the Dija world marks one as a lower tier celestial sovereign. Creating a territory in the 71st tier signifies a middle tier celestial sovereign. Establishing a territory in the 72nd tier denotes a timeless emperor. Guess which tier I am in? Upon hearing this, the Grand Prince and his companion turned pale. They understood that since Nangonghao invited them to guess, his realm must surely surpass theirs. Yet they were unwilling to accept this truth, filled with disbelief. Exchanging determined glances, they decided to make an attempt. Kill! The Grand Prince roared, as they aimed to suppress Nangonghao with their combined might, while the calamity of water surged forth, overwhelming the skies. The other elite individual also thrust forth his spear, tearing through everything. Nangonghao merely shook his head slightly, uttering 4 words. Unaware of their impending doom, without a sound, his miniature world also emerged. The little boy spirit he had nurtured had transformed into a youth, entering the 72nd tier of the Dija world. At this moment, Nangonghao was undoubtedly a middle-tier celestial sovereign. Thus, his miniature world appeared vastly larger than the combined world of his opponents. Within that immense realm, mountains and rivers were countless, even forming a dragon vein. The dragon vein could absorb the Earth's Een energy in vast quantities, infinitely enhancing the power of the world. However, it is true that Nangonghao's celestial dragons were somewhat lacking, a bit pitiable, numbering only 999. He had not yet surpassed the power of a single true dragon. Yet, who could forget that he possessed the true Dragonine seals? Descend. True dragon. Roar. A true dragon emerged from the void, spiraling within Nangonghao's world. In an instant, both the Earth's power and the celestial dragon's power surged beyond that of the two collaborating individuals. And this was the might of a middle-tier celestial sovereign. Suppression. Nangonghao coldly regarded the two before him. The power of the world mercilessly pressed down upon them. Accompanied by 2 piercing screams. The Grand Prince and the other elite had no time to resist, instantly spitting blood and collapsing to the ground, severely injured. However, the royal artifacts had already been summoned, and they still possessed an energy supply. They continued their assault on Nangonghao, attempting to annihilate him. Yet Nangonghao merely chuckled coldly. as the Renhuang seal came crashing down. If he could suppress individuals, how could he not overwhelm these two weapons? Moreover, he could fully manipulate the power of the Renhuang seal, facing merely two artifacts that operated on instinctive awareness. What was there to fear? Boom! Boom! Two explosive sounds resounded. The Haiwangji and Lietian spear were subdued, subsequently captured by Nangong Hao, who refined them into essence using the order of the artifacts within a furnace. These two essences were once again integrated into the Renhuang Yin, enhancing it further while also bestowing it with two powers of order. A calamity of water and a rending force emerged. Nangong Hao was pleasantly surprised, not anticipating such an effect. Quite impressive. Meanwhile, the two subdued princes, witnessing how Nangong Hao had used the Renhuang Yin to suppress their imperial artifacts, were engulfed by despair. It was over, completely over. How could this individual be so formidable? Was it not said that this era would be one of endless competition among prodigies? Was it not asserted that this generation would endure brutal bloodshed, with dozens of quasi-emperors vying for supremacy? Was it not claimed that selecting the next emperor would be a daunting task? Where was the difficulty in this? With Nangong Hao, such an anomaly present, what was there to compete for? Who could possibly outmatch him? The two princes found themselves in tears, lamenting their fate. Yet soon a sinister, vengeful smile crept upon their faces, for they realized that all prodigies of this era would share their fate, enduring the humiliation of being trampled by Nangong Hao. Let us perish together. Let us sink beneath the feet of this emperor who could suppress the ages. The prince's desire for competition vanished entirely, and in a fit of madness, one of them produced a string of bracelets. This is the key to entering the core of the emperor's legacy. Hasten to obtain the inheritance, seize everything, and trample this grand era. Nangong Hao frowned, initially suspecting that the prince was attempting to deceive him. However, upon closer inspection, he realized the prince's heart had shattered, willing to sacrifice the entire Shihai clan to ensure that all prodigies of the world would meet the same fate as himself. To be trampled upon. As you wish, the divine child. Nangong Hao took the key and departed under the frenzied gazes of the two princes. Let this world be annihilated. Let countless prodigies be obliterated. Chapter 63. Collaborate with me? You are unworthy. Nangong Hao, armed with the key to the core of the emperor's legacy, left the cave of the princes. The emperor's legacy was certainly not located there. Moreover, he needed to seek out Qin Yan'er and the others. It was likely that the son-in-law of the War God Palace had also unearthed the secret by now, right? As Nangong Hao hastened to find them, chaos reigned outside. The seahorse that had previously pursued Qin Yan'er had incited numerous sea clansmen to slaughter those of the Shihai clan. What was intended to be a conspiracy of the Shihai to besiege foreign forces had been utterly disrupted by him. Many foreign cultivators who had narrowly escaped realized the plot of the Shihai clan. Enraged, they understood that the Shihai clan was numerous and powerful, and could only hide until the secret realm concluded before seeking revenge for their families. As more and more prodigies concealed themselves, the Shihai clan members were left bewildered. Where had those outsiders gone? Why could they not be found? It was crucial that these individuals did not perish, as their lives were tied to the very survival of the Shihai clan. In an instant, the members of the Shihai clan became agitated, frantically searching. Meanwhile, at the War God Palace, the old demon, following a faint clue from his memories, arrived at a secret cave. This cave, seemingly unremarkable, was unlike any other, possessing a separate layer of restrictions. Fortunately, the old demon excelled in breaking seals, and soon unlocked this barrier. Upon breaking the seal, the old demon was taken aback. Inside lay a storage chamber. This was once a cultivation site of the Shihai clan, where emperors had once thrived. It was easy to imagine the treasures contained within this storeroom, vast and precious. The old demon was filled with exhilaration. With these treasures, he could undoubtedly restore his peak strength, perhaps even surpass it. It was said that this era was one of great contention, with countless prodigies. It seemed that I, the ancestor, must also partake in this battle for the emperor's throne. The old demon, brimming with pride, suddenly sensed a faint disturbance nearby. No, someone was tracking him. The old demon's expression changed abruptly, his battle energy surging forth, a manifestation of the War God Palace's technique, the Chaotic Era technique. This technique could nullify tracking methods. The Wanhua Pearl only concealed but could not defend against attacks, leading to the figures of Qin Yan'er and her companions being exposed. Miss Qin flee. Situ Rue immediately summoned a divine demon, the fiery demon, capable of conjuring an endless sea of flames. The fox demon, a little girl, turned pale with fear, bewildered and helpless. Yet, Qin Yin'er did not flee. She had spotted the treasures within the cave. Humph, how dare this mere son-in-law indulge in these resources? These belong to my brother Hao. The old demon paid no heed to Situ Rue, unleashing a powerful punch. This battle energy, a unique force born from the war god Palace's techniques, though gaseous, was incredibly solid and heavy. Even a droplet-sized fragment of it could cleave mountains. More terrifyingly, this energy possessed various profound effects, capable of dispelling illusions, dismantling restrictions, shattering spirits, and excelling in breaching defenses. Such a miraculous force was accumulated through warfare. The larger the war, the greater the casualties, the more battle energy could be amassed. At this moment, the old demon was unaware of how many battles had contributed to his vast reservoir of battle energy, and with a single punch, Situ Rue could not withstand it. A muffled grunt was heard, and the power of the fiery demon was dispersed, sending Situ Rue flying. Though she struggled to stabilize herself, blood trickled from her lips. How dare a mere character from the eastern wilderness challenge me? The old demon sneered. Qin Yin'er's eyes sharpened as she drew forth the sacred artifact, the Jinyu Jian. This was a protective measure given to her by Nangong Hao. To her surprise, the old demon, upon seeing the Jinyu Jian, not only felt no fear, but was filled with joy. Excellent. Unexpectedly, that divine child knew I lacked a weapon, and not only sent you 3 beautiful ladies for my delight, but also presented a sacred artifact. Suppression. With the Jinyu Jian in hand, Qin Yin'er activated the power of order. This was the order of suppression, capable of subduing the mountains and seas. Although the old demon had usurped a body, he was still constrained by the limitations of the secret realm and his corporeal form, merely at the rank of a noble. Qin Yin'er believed that even if this sacred artifact could not directly vanquish the old demon, it could at least force him back. However, contrary to her expectations, the old demon advanced instead, extending a massive hand. The star-plucking hand. This hand could seize stars, nullifying the suppressive force while grasping the Jinyu Jian. This is bad. Qin Yin'er had not anticipated the old demon's terror, and just as she attempted to exert her full strength to control the sacred artifact, a vast force surged forth, rendering her incapable of resistance, and she could only watch helplessly as the Jinyu Jian was wrested from her grasp. That was the sacred artifact entrusted to her by Nangong Hao. How could Qin Yin'er allow it to be taken? How could she bear to disappoint him? Return it to me. In fury, Qin Yin'er unleashed the power of the world, drawing upon the earth's dark energy and the might of hundreds of celestial dragons to form a colossal hand, reaching out to reclaim the Jinyu Jian. Dare to flaunt your minuscule world before me. Watch as I shatter your realm. The old demon grinned menacingly. This diminutive world could also be crushed. Should it be shattered, the cultivator within would be rendered incapable of further cultivation, a fatal blow indeed, especially for prodigies like Qin Yin'er. The old demon's world expanded, transforming into a vast domain, within which battle energy surged, exerting tremendous pressure upon Qin Yin'er's realm. As Qin Yin'er witnessed her world being completely suppressed, her powers slowly ground down, the area of her world continuously shrinking. Her expression transformed in horror. Situ Rue's face twisted in anger, and she immediately prepared to unleash a forbidden technique, willing to sacrifice herself to ensure Qin Yin'er's escape. Suddenly, the surging battle energy came to a halt. In the next moment, an even grander world forcefully pushed the old demon away. Dare to shatter my woman's world? What are you? Nangong Hao's cold voice echoed, followed by his towering figure appearing beside the 3 women. Qin Yin'er, upon hearing this voice, was filled with joy, yet also a pang of guilt. I am sorry. Brother Hao, the sacred artifact you gave me has been taken. It is merely a sacred artifact. We can reclaim it easily. Nangong Hao gently ruffled Qin Yin'er's hair and strode forward. The old demon, seeing Nangong Hao approach, displayed no fear, but rather a mockery. Previously, you did not dare to act before my ancestor. Now, for this woman, you dare to confront me? Truly a lovesick fool. However, your arrival is fortuitous. It saves me the trouble of seeking you out. Today, I shall seize your body. With your handsome face, I shall surely win over many women, and I shall bask in pleasure henceforth. Clearly, the old demon still harbored resentment over Nangong's refusal to engage in battle upon their earlier encounter. Perhaps since that moment, he had convinced himself that Nangong Hao was a coward. Just as Nangong Hao was about to respond, his expression shifted. What? Are you so frightened by my presence that you cannot speak? The old demon taunted. Yet, in the next moment, he sensed something amiss and abruptly turned. Emerging from the treasure cave was a golden figure, enveloped in radiant light, obscuring its true form, with various forces of order entwined around it, unleashing a formidable aura that swept over everyone. The royal authority Golden Bone. This was a skeletal remnant of a sovereign, completely transformed into gold, impervious for millennia, retaining remnants of its former power. It was evidently the guardian of this cave, now prepared to annihilate the intruders. Nan Gong Hao turned to Qin Yin'er and the others, urging, "You must retreat. This is beyond your capacity to withstand." Qin Yin'er, filled with concern, replied, "Brother Hao, what about you?" Before Nan Gong Hao could respond, the old demon interjected, "Nan Gong Hao, we must collaborate. Otherwise, confronted by this sovereign, we are surely doomed." Hearing this, a hint of disdain curled at the corners of Nan Gong's mouth. "Collaborate with you? You are unworthy." With a scornful glance at the old demon, Man Gong Hao continued, "You are being foolish. I am perfectly capable of handling this royal authority, Golden Bone." The old demon, infuriated, shouted, "What nonsense! Do you think you can contend with this royal authority, Golden Bone? Even I, a once mighty ancestor, would not dare to speak such bravado." Not only was the old demon incredulous, but even Situ Rue was filled with trepidation. The fox demon girl, in a state of panic, exclaimed, "Why is this divine son so foolish as to challenge a sovereign?" Qin Yin'er coldly retorted, "You have boasted about your young supreme fox. Does he dare to challenge someone a whole realm above him?" The fox demon girl shook her head. "My supreme is extremely wise. He would not undertake such folly. And the only time he retreated was against a foe a full realm above him. Then let me show you that your supreme is but a weakling. My brother, Hao, is invincible." Qin Yin'er voiced her unwavering confidence in Nan Gong Hao. In truth, she was uncertain how Nan Gong Hao would overcome the royal authority Golden Bone. Yet, she was assured that he would not act recklessly and must possess the confidence to engage. Under the watchful eyes of all, the royal authority Golden Bone was the first to strike, releasing a force of order. The surrounding space trembled violently as the seabed quaked, the earth cracked, and the ocean surged, everything crumbling. Even the spiritual energy shattered, leaving everyone in horror as they found themselves unable to absorb the surrounding spiritual energy. This is dire. The laws themselves are collapsing. The old demon gasped. If they wished to fight or flee, they would be forced to rely solely on the forces of order. However, at the realm of kings, how could they muster enough forces of order? They had only the limited order power from the royal authority artifacts. Utilizing such strength would place immense strain on their bodies and would be difficult to sustain. Unfazed, Nan Gong Hao summoned the human sovereign seal, responding with the power of order. He already recognized the nature of the order power wielded by the royal authority Golden Bone, Disaster of Tremors. Legend speaks of 3,000 orders, with no distinction of strength, solely reliant on individual comprehension. Yet the offensive power is ranked. Among the most potent order powers, one known as the Three Disasters holds a prominent position. The three disasters are flood, fire, and tremor. Previously, the great prince of the Western Sea had employed the king of the sea spear, which contained the flood, infused into the human sovereign seal. With the true dragon 9 seals, Nan Gong Hao could summon the true dragon flames to gather fire. If he could acquire this tremor, he would forge the apex of the three disaster orders. I have always held an affinity for you. Now, I am determined to possess you, Nan Gong Hao declared, filled with elation. The human sovereign seal appeared, utilizing the power of order. Flood. The ocean surged. An infinite tide with the force of 10,000 tons crashed upon the royal authority Golden Bone, barely managing to suppress the force of the disaster of tremors. Yet the royal authority Golden Bone wielded more than just this one order. It unleashed divine powers, the celestial calamity finger. This was a divine technique derived from the Order of Calamities, condensing the order power into a single fingertip, capable of inflicting terrifying disasters upon those who came into contact. Unfazed, Man Gong Hao not only did not retreat, but advanced. This divine son, with a body of heavenly punishment, fears but a trifling calamity. Seeking death is truly a fool's errand. How absurd! Even I, an ancient ancestor, would not dare to confront such a calamity head-on. Who do you think you are? The old demon was beside himself with rage, unable to comprehend when Nan Gong Hao exhibited such audacity, even surpassing his own centuries-long existence. What was most vexing was that Nan's earlier bravado had indeed succeeded. Yet at this moment, the old demon could not fathom how Nan Gong Hao could maintain his facade. The royal authority Golden Bone, enraged, was poised to unleash endless calamities upon Nangonghao and obliterate him. What a pity for my fine body, the old demon mused. It was suddenly startled by the sound of thunder. He curiously looked up, only to be momentarily stunned. Nangonghao advanced step by step toward the royal authority Golden Bone, his surroundings transforming continuously. The sound of thunder crackled. Celestial phenomena manifested beneath the sea. The image of the constellations appeared, yin and yang, both righteous and wicked. The Taiji fish emerged. The manifestation of yin and yang came forth. Heaven and earth, the profound yellow, the universe's primordial chaos. The manifestation of chaos settled. The four great phenomena emerged simultaneously, and a small world unfolded. A true dragon soared through the skies, accompanied by mountainous dragon veins, absorbing the Earth's yin energy at a rate tenfold or 100-fold greater than ordinary beings. As a celestial calamity finger struck toward Nangonghao chest, an endless and terrifying disaster enveloped him. The violent force instantly tore apart the surrounding space, creating fissures in the one solid realm, revealing the chaotic void outside. Yet, that was all it was. Nangonghao harnessed the power of the chaotic phenomenon, swallowing the force of the celestial calamity finger whole. He then wielded the Earth's store primordial will blade, activating the peak power of a quasi-emperor artifact. Black mist enveloped the area as the force of hell emerged. A benevolent Buddha appeared behind Nangonghao. The Buddha sat upon a golden lotus with a kind demeanor, while beneath the lotus lay an endless hell filled with countless malevolent spirits. Roaring ferociously, gripping the long blade, Nangonghao pointed it at the royal authority Golden Bone, emitting a resonant sound that echoed across the heavens. You are guilty and shall descend into the abyss of hell, suffering countless calamities with no end in sight. The once benevolent Buddha suddenly narrowed his brows, adopting a fierce countenance. In the next moment, he extended a golden hand, reaching across space to seize the royal authority Golden Bone. Golden light soared into the heavens, transforming into countless minuscule wand characters that entwined the sovereign's golden bone, sealing it with an unyielding grip. The sovereign's golden bone struggled frantically, yet it was unable to break free, forcibly dragged down to the infernal realm beneath the Buddha's lotus seat. Countless malevolent spirits, upon witnessing the sovereign's golden bone, lunged at it with wild abandon, surrounding and devouring it. Despite its desperate resistance, the sovereign's strength continued to wane. Onlookers were left dumbfounded, particularly the old demon, who gazed at Nangonghao with palpable terror. He had once been a youthful prodigy, yet now he radiated an aura of sacred majesty, gleaming like a great savior Buddha. Although the old demon had already usurped a body and transformed into a righteous cultivator, he could not overcome the deep-seated fear of the power of Buddhism. He wished to flee, to retreat. However, Nangonghao's gaze was fixed upon him, coolly remarking, "Do you still wish to leave? After all, you are a seasoned demon who has lived countless years. Is this truly the extent of your wisdom?" The old demon's face twisted in bitterness, realizing his escape was futile, and he gritted his teeth. "I know you intend to use me as a test subject. Do you not wish for my assistance in seeking treasures in the future?" It seemed he had grasped some understanding. Nangonghao replied with a sneer, "I must admit, you are correct. Your fortune is indeed abundant, and I do wish for others to benefit from your good fortune." The old demon's face brightened with a mix of delight and disdain, thinking, "This greedy lad shall pay a price." Yet, in the next moment, a single utterance from Nangonghao caused his expression to freeze. "But if your fortune is so splendid, why would I not simply seize it for myself?" Chapter 65. The Shura Princess, Nangong's son-in-law. Upon hearing that Nangonghao intended to usurp his fortune, the old demon's countenance turned pale with dread. He promptly turned to flee. However, this cunning individual seized the little fox demon as a hostage, barking fiercely, "If you dare approach, I shall slay her." The little fox demon, already timid, was now utterly terrified, her youthful visage trembling with fear, her eyes brimming with tears, evoking both pity and rage from onlookers. This brute would not even spare a young girl. Nangonghao disregarded the little fox demon and swiftly struck with his blade. The power contained within the Dizong Binyuan blade was terrifying, perfectly unleashing the might of a quasi-imperial weapon. With a single, effortless swing, the cold light cleaved through the void, instantly bisecting the old demon. Taking a hostage? Attempting to escape? Had he lost his mind? Regardless of his former glory or reputation, the realm of kings could only allow one to contend with an emperor at best, but a quasi-imperial weapon was more than sufficient to slay him. Even a prodigy like Nangong Hao would not dare to confront the blade's edge, let alone this pathetic son-in-law. With a swift motion, the son-in-law of the War God Palace was cleaved in two, his soul extracted and suppressed by the Dizong Binyuan blade. The old demon, despite his formidable nature, howled in the air even as his soul was drawn away. You will not have a good end. Forcibly seizing a strong, one's fortune will result in backlash. Yet, Nangong Hao, unfazed by the warning, unhesitatingly absorbed the fortune taken from the War God Palace's son-in-law into his own being. Suddenly, a golden radiance erupted from above his head. The power of living beings' fortunes ascends from the lowest to the highest as white, yellow, red, and gold. The old demon's fortune was a rare blend of yellow and red, a commendable high-tier fortune. Pure red fortune was exceedingly rare, while gold had not been heard of for over 1,000,000 years. At this moment, a golden fortune surged forth from Nangong Hao, accompanied by the harmonious sounds of dragons and phoenixes, with Qilins spiraling and auspicious beasts weaving through the air. This was the epitome of unparalleled fortune. The old demon, witnessing the spectacle, was left in shock, then was drawn into the Dizong Binyuan blade, unleashing a desperate roar as he faced his demise. You dare to seize my fortune of such strength? Nangong Hao's expression remained indifferent. Who would shun an abundance of good fortune? As for backlash, with tenfold courage, would it dare to retaliate against me? This sentiment was quite practical, for the fortune of the War God Palace's son-in-law had seamlessly merged into Nangong Hao's own, showing no sign of rebellion. Having subdued the old demon, Nangong Hao restored the quasi-imperial weapon's power, reverting it to the level of a royal artifact. He suddenly staggered, feeling incredibly weak. Activating the quasi-imperial weapon had drained significant energy, and he was also suppressing a sovereign's golden bone, which was an immense drain on his strength. Qin Yin'er and Situ Rue hurriedly rushed over to support him, their faces etched with concern. Young master, are you all right? Brother Hao, do you need to recuperate? Nangong Hao waved his hand at the two. I shall recover in the cave. You two remain vigilant against outsiders. Both women promptly agreed and stood guard at the cave entrance. Once Nangong Hao entered the cave, Qin Yin'er suddenly recalled something, glancing at the little fox demon. How does my brother Hao compare to your young supreme? The little fox demon lowered her head. She had nearly been captured by the old demon earlier, but thankfully, Nangong Hao had rescued her. Moreover, he had single-handedly battled the sovereign's golden bone, a feat her own supreme had never accomplished, especially since her supreme had once fled from an encounter with a ruler, though he later returned for vengeance. In light of this, he was undoubtedly inferior to Nangong Hao. The little fox demon pouted, though I am reluctant to admit it. The son indeed surpasses my family's supreme in certain aspects. Qin Yin'er brimmed with confidence. Just wait. My brother Hao will one day conquer the 9 heavens and 10 realms, becoming the supreme emperor. At that time, not only your family's supreme, but all supreme beings and countless sages will bow before him. Situ Rue also harbored great faith in Nangong Hao. The little fox demon covertly peered into the cave, where a rich aura of spiritual energy surged, clearly indicating Nangong Hao's recovery. A glimmer of gratitude and admiration flashed in her eyes. To speak frankly, the domineering demeanor he exhibited earlier was truly captivating. As Nangong Hao recuperated, far away in the central continent, within the War God Palace, in a resplendent palace, an elder was vigilantly guarding numerous jade tablets. These tablets were life jade tablets, inscribed with the names of every disciple of the War God Palace. If any of them encountered misfortune, the tablet would emit a warning and automatically display the scene of the disciple's demise. At that moment, the jade tablet designated for the War God Palace's son-in-law illuminated, and an image materialized, depicting Nangong Hao slaying the War God Palace's son-in-law. The elder furrowed his brow, observing, so, the son-in-law was indeed usurped. No wonder he suddenly changed his demeanor and exhibited newfound talent. Nevertheless, even so, he is still a disciple of the War God Palace. How dare a mere ruffian from the eastern wilderness lay a lethal hand on him? However, that quasi-imperial weapon is quite exceptional. I shall dispatch 2 sages to retrieve it. I do not believe that the families of the eastern wilderness would dare oppose the War God Palace. Just then, a graceful figure appeared. The elder was about to allocate manpower when he looked up and was taken aback by the breathtaking beauty of the woman before him. It was the Shura princess of the War God Palace, Yin Wushuang. This was the ruthless woman who had once led an army into ancient lands, burying and slaughtering millions of souls. Even the elder, despite his formidable strength, could not help but tremble before Yan Wushuang's Shura aura, bowing respectfully. I pay my respects to the princess. Just now, while I was cultivating, an unusual sensation arose. Has that fool encountered trouble again? Yan Wushuang's voice was cold and devoid of emotion, for she practiced the heartless sword technique. Heartless, severing desires. The elder understood that Yan Wushuang was referring to the son-in-law, and immediately responded with respect. Yes, he was killed in the Dongwang region. I was just about to send someone to eliminate the perpetrator. By the way, the murderer possesses a quasi-imperial artifact. Yan Wushuang raised her delicate eyebrows slightly. No wonder. That fool has shown talent ever since he was possessed. Logically, he should not have died so easily. It turns out he had the assistance of a quasi-imperial artifact. The assailant must also be a young prodigy. In that case, I shall personally pay a visit and allow him the honor of becoming my next husband. Upon hearing this, the elder smiled bitterly. Becoming the husband of the Shura princess? Is this a blessing? Indeed, for one would gain abundant resources from the War God Palace, receiving exhaustive training to become a formidable prodigy. Yet once you have grown, Yan Wushuang will personally eliminate you, for she cultivates the heartless sword, which seeks to transcend all emotions and obliterate human connections. To fully master such a technique, one must slay a close relative to attain enlightenment. If her parents were not so powerful, she would have been unable to defeat them. Perhaps she would ruthlessly kill her own parents to prove her unparalleled sword path. After all, she perceives her success in attaining enlightenment as bringing unmatched glory to her parents. This is an endless honor for cultivators. Unfortunately, she lacks the power to do so. Others do not qualify as close relatives. Thus, Yan Wushuang devised a unique plan, nurturing the usurped son-in-law with great care, and later intending to personally slay him for her own enlightenment. Now that the son-in-law is dead, the Shura princess, Yan Wushuang, has set her sights on Nan Gonghao. The elder watched his princess depart and glanced at the image of Nan Gonghao, filled with sympathy. Initially, you merely needed to die swiftly, but now you're likely to endure torment. How pitiful, how lamentable. Chapter 66. The Imperial Artifact of the Shihai Tribe. The void worship Nan Gonghao remained unaware of the Shura princess's intentions. After practicing for merely a short while, he swiftly regained his peak condition and utilized Hell to crush the royal bone of authority, merging it into the human Emperor Seal. The human Emperor Seal already fused with forbidden artifacts and 2 royal dominance artifacts, possessing the majesty of an emperor. At this moment, it was further enhanced with the royal bone, transforming into a substantial treasure. Its power grew immensely, as if a true emperor were serving Nan Gonghao. Naturally, it could also function normally, transforming into a sage or even a higher realm. Nan Gonghao was quite pleased. Subsequently, he began to inspect the items within this cave. This was a storage chamber filled with various treasures, techniques, elixirs, and even some spirit beasts. However, the spirit beasts had perished due to prolonged neglect. Nevertheless, the items housed here rivaled the total inventory of a first-rate power. Nan Gonghao gathered all these treasures and departed. He had more crucial matters to attend to. The 2 women guarding the entrance were astonished to see Nan Gonghao emerge so quickly. After such immense consumption, it would likely take them a day to recover. Let us go find the Emperor's legacy, Nan Gonghao urged, leading the 3 women toward the distance. There were a dozen passageways, each leading to different locations. With the bracelet given by the Shihai tribe's crown prince, he could sense the specific location of the Emperor's legacy. Soon, he pinpointed it and dashed forward. This was a rather tranquil passageway, appearing no different from the others at first glance. However, upon closer inspection, there was a decaying aura present. It seemed as if something ancient existed here, yet it had long since deteriorated. This was peculiar. The location of an imperial artifact should exude supreme power, ensuring eternal integrity. This is why forces possessing imperial artifacts are referred to as immortal powers. Yet now, the stench of decay in the passageway grew increasingly potent, causing concern. Was it a disguise, or was there an issue with the imperial artifact? As Nan Gonghao pondered, he arrived at the end of the passage. There were no signs of anyone having been here before, likely because all believed that a place with an imperial artifact could not harbor such a foul atmosphere. Yet, the unease in Nan Gonghao's heart intensified like never before. The bracelet given by the crown prince automatically floated into the air, transforming into a spatial gate. Behind the spatial gate lay the true location of the emperor's legacy. Containing his excitement and confusion, Nan Gonghao entered, followed closely by the 3 women. Upon entering, Nan Gonghao was taken aback. This was a dark void, akin to chaotic emptiness, devoid of light, spiritual energy, or laws. Yet, directly ahead stood a dilapidated grand ship. The ship stretched for an unknown length, its width spanning dozens of kilometers, and its height resembling a towering mountain. It appeared unmistakably like a small island. The only reason it could be identified as a ship was due to its tattered sails and various paddles. This was the Shihai tribe's imperial artifact, the Void Warship. Legend has it that the great emperor of the Shihai tribe once wielded this warship to conquer the heavens and earth, subjugating countless foreign tribes. The glory of its past seemed vivid. Yet now, this warship was nearly in ruins. The ship was rusted, the sails torn, and even the hull was fractured. Were it not for the lingering might of the imperial